Review, federal officials are now laying out a new plan hoping to deter, detect, and prosecute domestic.
Waving their flags and looking for smoke. He was out there looking for justice. They was over there looking for votes. Ashley Babbitt was with him and told all the people that nothing could stop us. She climbed through that Capitol window, breaching security, and caught a shot, bro. The media say she a veteran. They paint the picture to make her look greater. But she disrespected the same country that she served. That makes her a traitor. They was fighting police, resisting arrest. On God, I couldn't believe it. I guess blue lives only tend to really matter when it's convenient. Hey, these are the times we witness in history. All because they didn't get a victory. United States is so contradictory. We get equal rights, that's a mystery. Politicians, they more like magicians. You know they got tricks up their sleeve. We point out the flaws that's up in this country. You know they gon' tell us to leave. Somebody try to help me understand it. Always seems like a double standard. They be out here leaving us empty-handed. To certain rights, we are not granted. The media's the culprit when it comes to the comparison. Cause when it comes to race, they always changing up the narrative. It's terrorism. They say you a patriot, call you a hero. I call it terrorism. And that's on the real. You know and we know, I say it's terrorism. They say you a patriot, call you a hero. I call it terrorism. And that's on the real.
To $700 million, which is what CPS should be getting. And lastly, CPS should use incentives to recruit, to fund required coursework. And yes, planning periods are critical so that we don't burn people who are committed to this community and create a better environment. Thank you.
And Mr. Green.
Where would we be without teachers? All of us in this room can all say that teachers help make us who we are today. And that's why we must make sure that every student in the city of Chicago, even those who experience disabilities, get a high-quality education and gets their needs to be met. We must address our teaching shortages by making sure that community college is free, by making sure that we can give the down payment and closing costs so that they can own a home in the city of Chicago, by making sure that we're allocating the resources how they should be. Somehow there's all these billions of dollars, but somehow we're constantly talking about the same things over and over again on why our teachers aren't paid, why our teachers don't have the resources in their schools. We must make our schools an environment where everyone wants to also teach. And that's making sure that the leadership do what they're supposed to do, to work with the state and the federal government to increase funding for our public school system. We got to move away from the enrollment-based formula and move to a needs-based formula in the city of Chicago so that all schools get the correct funding that they deserve.
Thank you. Transportation is the focus of our fourth question. State and local governments have an overarching legal obligation to ensure that people of all categories of disabilities can participate in all aspects of civic life. To do so, a city must ensure that it has and maintains a transportation infrastructure, one that is accessible and available to all people with disabilities. When we refer to a transportation infrastructure, we're referring to a combination of public rights-of-way, that is sidewalks and other pedestrian pathways, rail transit, fixed-route bus transportation, on-demand vehicular transportation, and ADA paratransit. And while owned by private entities, for our purposes here, we're including taxis and ride-sharing, as the city controls the licensing of those services and issues ordinances dictating the conditions under which they operate. So candidates, our question is this: what investment would you make to improve Chicago's transportation infrastructure and ensure it is more accessible for people with disabilities? And what regulatory changes would you make, if any? You each will have 75 seconds, beginning in 10 seconds. Mayor Lightfoot?
Well, I think the question was about accessibility of our transportation systems for people with disabilities. Good news that came in December of 2002, we applied for and won a $118 million grant from USDOT to continue the work of making all of our CTA stations accessible. We started that program in Chicago, modeled and scaled it up, working with Senator Duckworth. It has now become federal policy, and we are getting those federal dollars back to continue that work. All of the modernization that we're doing across our systems has a disability mandate in all of it. The red purple line modernization on the north side, and now that we are finally going to see the extension of the red line down to 138th Street, all of those stations will be accessible. In addition to that, all of the hundreds of miles of streetscapes that we have put in the last 4 years, we've done it with an eye towards making sure that the sidewalks and the roads are also accessible and protective of people with disabilities, including traffic signals that reflect the needs of the visually impaired. So we are very focused on our transportation system being accessible.
Mr. Vallis.
Look, our overriding goal should be 100% accessibility. And it needs to be comprehensive. It's just not the stations and the trains and the platforms and the vehicles, but as the mayor pointed out, it's the sidewalks, it's the roads, etc. We're either going to make it as a goal, and it needs to be comprehensive, and we need to pursue it. But I'll tell you, we also have to deal with another issue of accessibility. What is adversely impacting the CTA right now is violence. The ridership is down, what? Is it still down about 500,000 a day? What I would do is I would eliminate the privatized security, and I would hire additional police officers so that the platforms can be covered, so that the train stations can be covered, so that, like they do in New York, you can have officers from time to time riding trains both undercover and in uniform. Because at the end of the day, all too often, we're all victimized, but people with disabilities are often victimized the most. So we've really got to recognize that if we're going to revitalize our public public transit system, a system that is now has now lost so much in the fare box that only 18% of its operating costs are coming from the fare box, we're going to need to make the system safe.
Representative Buckner.
Thank you. I took the CTA here today, as I often do. I'm a CTA rider, and I see firsthand that this system is very inaccessible. We've got work to do. We've got 145 L stations. Only 103 of those have elevators. The other 42, they haven't been upgraded in decades. So number one, we got to be very serious about that and be aggressive about those upgrades. There are people like Mike Irvin and the Chicago Adapt and Access Living who have been fighting these fights for a long time, chaining themselves to buses for 40 years to create some accessibility here in the city. We still have not done enough. I will make the CTA 100% accessible as mayor, period. We also will make our paratransit services better, make them easier to book online, digitally for folks who need them. We also need a municipal plow program. For people who try to maneuver through this city during the snow, when we have snowfall, we have not been kind and or fair to them. I also will say that every time we do a bike lane or a sidewalk or any streetscape in this city, I will have a safety and accessibility score through CDOT that has to happen before we begin the project. Thank you.
Congressman Garcia.
Thank you. When I was elected to Congress, I identified the committee I wanted to be on, my number one priority.
Days when all of the business was whites only.
WIFTV PM.
Uh-oh, what's in it for the black people?
You are listening to the most dangerous show. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
For Ruthie Moore, for Ty Stroger, I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show, asking every single day, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them Maze said, Mayor Lightfoot, man, we ain't accepting that. We ain't accepting that. Let's go. Yeah.
Let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts, man. Lightfoot seems more in the black. Rahm Emanuel's another case. He was just as tired. 50 closed schools left much to be desired. Police had Anjanette naked on that body cam. They suppressed the footage so it couldn't touch a lot of hands. Reminds me of that 16 shots in that cover up. Both of them similar, so I went and dug it up. George Floyd killed, a lot of riots happened in the town. Southside burned and they wouldn't let them bridges down. Grandmother sick, need a prescription and plus a couple groceries. You gon' have to travel just to get it now. COVID-19 out here shutting all the business down. Not enough SBA loans to even give around. So many failed businesses that you could put them in the pile. If you don't survive the pandemic, it's gon' sit you down. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. Shout out to Willie Wilson, hope one day you get to Senate. We need some different players in the game to handle business. Too many shady characters like Madigan and Blago. But when you really break it down, it's typical Chicago. City full of gangsters, it's what the land was built on. Same streets with hood legends, DNA get spilled on. Carjackers out here lurking, trying to get they steal on. Looking for a block to put them Hellcat wheels on. Let us give bogus appraisals a red line. Car crackers out here getting minimal fair time. And I'm concealed carry, I stay with the pipe. But Illinois gun laws giving minimal rights. Stay up on the swivel, make sure I'm moving tight. Check all of my mirrors when I pull up to the light. Pick my homie up from out of town, man, he caught a flight. He was hella nervous, told him, shorty, this a way of life. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks.
That's right. Good morning. It is the Founders Day. The greatest fraternity in the world. Phi Beta, don't do it. Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, founded this day, January 9th, 1914 at Howard University. I want to send a big shout out to all of my fraternity brothers all across the country, all the way from the international president, the Honorable Chris Day. Now I done just got stuck. Shout out to David Turner, the international vice president. International president Christopher Ray, who was here on this show. He's been here on this show. Came on here when he was on his first media tour, and I'm sure as he comes back around, we may get a call from him today. Shout out to the international vice president of our fraternity, who is from my home chapter, Epsilon Xi, and that's part of my graduate chapter, Iota Phi Sigma, better known as the dark side. You see I'm repping for the fam, right? You see what I'm saying? I never forget, we were all Sigma Squires back in 1989. Myself, Brother Sadiq, Derek Helm, y'all, when Brother Sadiq was before Brother Sadiq was Brother Sadiq. And we always said that one day from our group, we believed that we would get an international president of the organization. And I went to a campaign kickoff for David Turner this Saturday night. at the Simeon Alumni Village. I didn't even know Simeon had an alumni village. They got their own joint, Joe. Simeon got like a whole little social club thing going on where they get it on with the big screen and everything. And he kicked his campaign off. So I want to send him a big shout out. Shout out to all of the men of the Epsilon Xi chapter of Phi Beta Sigma, University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, where I was made on Sigma Ship Blue Apocalypse. Sigma Ship Blue Avengers protecting our cause and livelihoods, yet preserving Sigma's excellence. On September 1st, 1990 at 5:32:30 a.m. You hear that, Todd? Then, shout out to the men of Iota Phi Sigma, my graduate chapter, who is always out on the prowl. Shout out to all the chapters in Chicago. Man, I will go through that. Maybe I'll do all that stuff a little bit later. But shout out, Big Blue Phi to the bros this morning. I want to make sure that I show us a little love. Somebody sent me a message that said, I can't even remember. I'm going to play it. Let me see if I can find it. Because a Delta sent me a, Riis, a Delta sent me a chat. See if you can give me some audio from the computer. I think I'm going to play one of the messages I got from one of our favorite viewers, one of our favorite family members. I'm going to play the message that I got this morning. You got me? Let me see if we can get it. See if y'all recognize this voice too.
Maze, I thought you'd get a kick out of this. As you can see, I wake up very early and I work through the night. Wait a minute. When I was at TSU, the Sigmas used to say, Deltas, you need a Sigma between your theta. When they rocked that shit on the yard, that was hot. Happy Founders Day. Deltas, you need a Sigma between your theta. Tell Carrie that this morning. Have a good day.
Shout out to Freylana.
Maze, I thought you'd get a kick
Shout
out
out to Freylana, who woke up this morning. I came into the inbox and Freylana was up. Clearly she was up early. In case y'all don't know, that's Boosie. Sending shout outs to the men of Phi Beta Sigma. So, Carrie, you need a Sigma between your theta. No, Delta, you need a Sigma between your theta. Right? Is that how it go? All right. So anyway, y'all, shout out to the men of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Boosie getting it cracking early this morning. All right, man. It is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. If you were wondering what was going on when you first turned on, I was playing clips of the Access Living mayoral debate in which all of the candidates who were on, except for the Reverend Dr. Willie Wilson. Hey, man, I don't understand this. Like, okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to save some of that for a little bit later. But look, y'all, so that was what that was. You were watching. Riis, they sent me my money back. They said, we tired of trying to knock on your door, so I ain't getting no ink. They just said, look, man, you got the wrong hours. I was like, we have never had a, you see all them, I'll be like this. You see, this when you know you got a bogus Amazon delivery man who lazy, right? Riis, you see, we get packages every damn day. All you got to do is come in the building and sit it in the hall. Don't tell nobody that, but, right? But look, we got Riis, you got to take out the garbage. You be like, damn, this nigga got another package? Somebody gonna tell you, Riis, we get big old boxes with like Bazamo, big old wow. I come in, it be 40 boxes in the hallway. Drag them in the building. Now we got one Amazon man who can't deliver no ink cartridge. I think I'm canceling Amazon Prime, bro. They've been tripping lately.
Yeah, because, I mean, you know, even I've been here late some days, and they done walked in and dropped a package.
Here you go, Doc.
And I be like, you know, I'm sitting here chilling. And
they open the door, come on in, be all. I be thinking like to myself,
no knocking, and they just.
It don't say. I
like,
okay. You know who else is good for that too? The mail. That's why I locked the door.
The mailman.
The mailman be. Mailman come right up to your desk. Here you go, brother. I ain't tripping on the mailman. No, I like the mailman. He cool. He's super cool. But you know, you do be like, dog. Did I miss the knock? You know, it'd be like, did I miss the knock? I ain't tripping.
Right.
You welcome to be here. But did I miss you knocking?
It is like, and they walk in, it don't even be like, oh, my fault. They come right in like, all right, he go.
Hey, John, I'm supposed to be here. All right, man. All right, so Riis, back up. Let me say what's up to my man, DJ Riis the Ruler on the ones and twos. DJ Riis the Ruler. How you feeling today?
Blessed by the best. You already know the rest, man. It's an eventful weekend, man.
Really? What was cracking?
Oh, well, first of all, I had some what's in it for the Black People Maze Jackson show greats pop up at both fields.
Who was that?
Who you think? I give you a guess. Who you think came up to both fields this weekend? My boy.
Byron?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Byron!
Yes, Byron came.
Now, how was he? Cool?
Oh, yeah.
Did he eat some food?
Yeah.
Did he spend a little dollars?
Yep. He just came from playing some tennis, you know.
Right? Byron had on did he have on his white outfit with his racket? Jolly good? I feel like Byron played cricket or something, man.
Man, nah, he came through and I was like, whoa. And it was so crazy, you know, because I had just got there myself, so like I had walked in, so he walked in, he was like, is Riis here? So I didn't really like hear him, you know, so like I was like trying to like work too.
You was trying to be a celebrity.
I was trying to
you
work.
was like, look, man, I ain't got time for my fan club. I got work
Let me tell you, a celebrity, and this ain't no shade, you know, we just joking around. So it's Friday. I'm at both fields Friday, and like usually if you come in on the takeout side, and like I really just look at the window into the like hear the order, so I go just stand on the side, and the person walks in, so I don't even say nothing, so he see me and he go, hey bro, man, I see you every day, man, you know what I'm saying, keep doing what you're doing. I'm thinking he's talking about my brother because he actually be there every day. So like I don't say nothing. So I finally say, nah, man, my brother. He said, nope. As soon as you said something, he said, it's you, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Keep doing what you're doing. I was driving past on my truck. He said, I saw both fields. He said, I stopped my big old semi truck, pulled out to the side, and was like, man, thank y'all, man. I appreciate y'all, man. I keep doing what you're doing. Bye, and then just left. He didn't even want to order nothing. He just really hopped off his truck.
That's
say that. And I was like, whoa.
So, see, now, that is a great story. That is a great feeling. It is when you know that you have an impact. I've gone a number of locations this weekend where, for once in my life, people wasn't trying to find Carrie, they was trying to find me, right? And I truly believe we have an impact in the universe, and I believe that our show really does reach way more people than we're able to know that it reaches. And I think every time I hear you say somebody stopped at both fields, just the way your brother responded, etc., it's like we got some value around here. People got to appreciate that, right? Like there is something to, and you know, I heard when I was down the street, one of the ways that down the street was able to capture people and not pay them their fair market value, or how somebody like Ty got paid more than me, even though I was the one that was working, is because if you love what you do, then they know it's not work, right? And so being on the mic and being in a place where you can have influence in the Black community and be recognized anywhere becomes addictive at some point. And so knowing that you can impact the lives and that people listen to you on a daily basis. Like I always say, when I get up and I come here, I have to remember, you know, like people would look and say, oh, you got 58 people live on Facebook. You got 300 live listeners every day. That ain't really much. Could you imagine if every night you had a show where you had to perform in front of 300 people? Like if you walked into, so think about, and that's just the people that we know that we can see. But if you think about, imagine Riis back in the day when you was a performer, you was a manager or whatever, and you had a show and you knew it was going to be 300 tickets sold. Let me tell you, you buying a new outfit, you going, right? Even if you ain't getting paid, you out there, you gonna be like, man, Joe, we got a show tonight. Man, I can't even tell you how many times people like, man, we got a show tonight. They be at Tops and Bottoms. They be buying some new Timbs. Cause you gotta be fresh every day for your, man, people get fresh for 10 people at a joint. Every single day, and it is not lost on me that we have a live audience, virtual, of at least 300 people. And again, if you walked out in that lobby and saw 300 people waiting for you, you'll be like, dang, I done did something. And I think we take it for granted often. And then if you think about 300 people times, let's say 4 in a house or a car. Because every time I talk to somebody, there's like, if I talk to a couple, it's usually one couple that be like, I listen to you every day and I don't want to. But my husband or my wife got you turned all the way up in the shower and I got to listen to it. White people, black people, everybody. And so I think about our reach, and I think about, to me it should feel, even though he didn't buy nothing, an honor that somebody on their way in a truck doing their thing saw a name that they heard that we ain't even been, how long? We ain't even been talking about it more than 2 months. Stopped his truck to be like, man, I'm going to stop and see Riis, who ain't even got a camera. Right? So I just think I think sometimes we don't always recognize the value. And I want y'all to know that we do, and we care. And people be up at 6 o'clock in the morning and they go all the way till 9 o'clock. And if we go longer, they be right there with us. So I want to thank everybody, and I don't want you to think it's lost on me, the love and the appreciation. And so when you see me outside sometimes, right, I'm always trying, anyway. But please, sometimes people say some crazy stuff, though, as their introduction. Somebody said to me, man, I was waiting to meet you. And then he said, and Gary would have won the election if you didn't have said nothing. And I was like, and you just lost me, dog. And you just lost me. And I was like, it was fun. I was funky from that point on. Like, really, dog? And I think sometimes people, anyway, so let me just say this. Thank you to every person that gets up every single day, or once a week, or once a month, or whatever it is, and spends the time to tune in to us. Because as much of a labor of love as it is also a love affair that I have with black people. So look, y'all, this is the Mace Jackson Show. I'm your host, Mace Jackson. Got my man DJ Riis, the ruler. Riis, it seems like that's enough. So let's get the soul plane up to 60,000 feet. Let's take a quick break, give us some news, traffic, and weather. We'll welcome the people from WBGX 1570 because we know they listening. And we will be back after these messages.
Mace Jackson Show. We'll be back after this break. Mace Jackson.
Tune in to the Mace Jackson Show every day, Monday through Friday from 6 to 9 a.m., where you can catch us on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook Live. Plus, from 6:30 to 8, you can get us on WBGX 1570 a.m. That's right, it's the Mace Jackson Show, where every single day we ask the question, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them, Mace said. We out of here. Peace.
And now, traffic and weather.
Yo, who said devotion have to be sad? Yo, check this out. The Lord is my shepherd, I want. He's making me to lie down in green pastures. He leading me beside the still waters. He restored my soul. God's gonna turn it around.
Come all the way with me. Don't leave me now.
Good morning. What's in it for the Black People Media Radio? The time is now 6:38 a.m. I'm Riis, the ruler, with your Chicagoland area sports, traffic, and weather update. It's hell with the sports. The last game of the NFL season as the Bears take on the Vikings. Bears with nothing to gain lose 29-13, but win the number 1 draft pick as the Lovie Smith Texans win their game to give the Bears the number 1 draft pick in the upcoming draft. Let's go, Bears. Head over to traffic now in the Kennedy. O'Hare to the Loop will be 30 minutes. Outbound to O'Hare will be 24. On the Edens from Deerfield to the Exchange will be 35 minutes. Exchange to Deerfield will be 30. On the Eisenhower, Thorndale to the Loop, 31 minutes. 26 minutes back out to Thorndale. On the Stevenson from I-355 to the Dan Ryan will be 31 minutes. Outbound 28. The Bishop Ford, I-80 to the Dan Ryan, 38 minutes. 28 minutes to I-80. On the Dan Ryan is 15 minutes to the Loop, 12 minutes to 95th. On DuSable Drive South, 55th to Jackson will be 7 minutes. Jackson to 55th will be 9 and 8 minutes north. That's Randolph to Bryn Mawr and Bryn Mawr to Randolph. Today's weather, it is currently 27 and partly cloudy. Today will be a high of 41 with a low of 25. I'm Riis the Ruler. Welcome back. Happy Monday here on The Mace Jackson Show.
To the grave, from the grave back to glory. Glory to Gethsemane to Golgotha to the grave, from the grave back to glory. Glory to Gethsemane to Golgotha to the grave, from the grave. Glory to Gethsemane to Golgotha, oh Golgotha to the grave, from the grave. Dear Lord, it's me again. God's gonna turn around. I'm calling on you. You did it before. I believe that you can do it again. Somebody calling you right now, Lord. If it ain't one thing we need, somebody else needs you for another. Please, son, look and have mercy. Have mercy over our home, Lord. Have mercy. Have mercy.
You are listening to the Mace Jackson Show. I'm your host, Mace Jackson. Got my man, DJ Riis the Ruler, on the ones and twos. And man, I'm going to tell you, God is going to turn it around. And let me do this. Let me say what's up to everybody from WBGX 1570 AM. That's right. If you are from WBGX 1570 AM, you can catch us every day, 6:30 to 8 a.m. live on the Mace Jackson Show. That's right. Now, I'm going to tell you, I was in the barbershop getting my hair cut. 3 people walked in the barbershop like, man, I love the Mace Jackson Show. Man, I miss you. Man, I love the Mace Jackson Show. I miss you. Man, I love the Mace Jackson Show. I'm like, I'm still here. Then I was at Nikki Hayes' birthday party. Girl dancing on the dance floor. Was like, said to Carrie, wait, is that your husband? Can I meet him? I listen to him every day. Shout out to Nikki Hayes, who had a big birthday party this weekend at Norman. Hey, man, Norm, you got to get some more bartenders, dog. Like, when you know you finna have Riis, let me tell you, if y'all ever have a party and you know you finna have 300 people, you gonna have to set up a satellite bar, dog. Something. Because it's like, you know, when you go somewhere, when you don't have a bar, what that encourages is people to bring a flask. Right? Because if I can't I'm happy to pay for a drink, but you know, I be like, black people be like, you know, when you go there, you ain't gonna never get a drink. So what you might as well do is just get yourself a flask and a glass. I ain't telling on nobody, but I'm just saying. Anyway, y'all, good weekend. Shout out to Nikki Hayes, who celebrated her birthday at Norm's this weekend. So we had the chance to go out there. Then we went out to the Simeon Alumni Village. Okay, Riis, I did say it's Founders Day. It's also Governor's Day today. The governor is getting sworn in. The governor and the executive officers are getting sworn in today. And then the new legislature is getting sworn in on Wednesday. Now, Riis, the big thing about the governor getting sworn in is everybody trying to figure out who is his artist going to be? Who is he going to have at his inauguration? Last time, I think he had, what's old boy from Coldplay? I think that's who he had. And so everybody was like, ooh, look. So it's going to be Selfie Central tonight because everybody going down to Springfield to the governor's inauguration ball. Now, if you buy a ticket, just know that that is in the governor's inauguration ball. Tickets will go to benefit the Jesse White Foundation. Now, Riis, the thing is, the governor, though, is one thing. But I'm going to tell you, I think you got to watch it, GIannoulias, bro. But let's back up. I said what's up to everybody from WBGX. You can catch us every day, Monday through Friday, 6:30 to 8 a.m. And if you are one of the sinners, right, because the Saints is on WBGX, and you can listen to us on the TuneIn app. You can be like Sister Zakia, who listened to us up until 8 o'clock. Then she, unless it gets hot, then she be like, Maze, I had to come up off my TuneIn app. Because I had to get in the conversation. And then when you want to get in the conversation, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Twitch, you can get in with us on social where we go from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock every day. Now, regardless of where you tune in, you can call us at 872-259-7474, 872-259-7474. Want to encourage all the Facebook users to hit us with some stars. You can also Cash App or Zelle or Venmo, and I want to encourage all of the YouTube users to consider super chat, super stickers, and help support the Maze Jackson show as we fight to remain solvent. That's right, y'all. It's the Maze Jackson show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. All right, Riis. So I'm telling you, the governor has got to watch out for GIannoulias, right? Like, because I think if the governor starts to make a move for the president, I think GIannoulias is going to start making a play. You know how quick 4 years goes, man? 4 years go by like quick nowadays, Riis, when you're old. And so I think we need to be watching GIannoulias because I think that GIannoulias, Riis, I think he's got a lot of runway to become a star, right? You know, dad, wife, 2 kids, you know, be on the stage, still young whippersnapper. You know what I'm saying? Like, I heard the Greek people already making a plan for him to be the president. They already saying, man, Alexei next, right? They planning for the governor spot. So here's the thing that I think we got to be watching for. You know how the governor was all over Jesse White? He gonna be all away from Alexei because every time Alexei gets a win, he could potentially be looking at coming at him, right? So we gonna be paying attention to this whole GIannoulias. And you know, Alexei, you know, come on, man, when you ever seen, next thing, you know, Alexei be wearing ones. He be wearing Jordans, right? He did his whole campaign in Jordans, Joe. Think about Alexei walking on the stage and the governor walking on stage. That is like a line in a circle. And hey man, I'm just telling you, y'all better pay attention. There's something cooking over there. All right, also, the mayoral candidates, Riis, showed up for the Access Living debate, which I was showing you. Now, you know what Access Living is? That is the debate for people with physical disabilities. So realistically, they're going to address issues, but those aren't the issues. The more and more I keep looking at these things, Riis, I really feel like we got to have a black debate. Like, I don't know that it's going to be just black candidates at this point. I think it's just a debate, but you got to talk about black issues. Because at that debate, they was like, every answer they had. So I want to, like, the only people that are scared to talk about their stuff, you think when they have a Polish-American debate, they going to say Polish? Yeah, they are. What are you going to do for the Polish community? Yes, they are. And if they go to the Italians, they're going to be like, yes, they are. And when they go to the League of Women Voters, which, by the way, I don't know how I feel about Riis, I don't know how I feel about the League of Women Voters moderating black debates. I mean, I'm sure they could have it, but I feel like I don't know that I know very much about the organization, but I do feel like white women moderating debates in black areas does not equal a win for us. Now, it will probably be win for women, but I just want y'all to be looking at the board and make sure that the League of Women Voters, I'm not against them, but I want to make sure that it's reflective of the women of the communities that they are representing. Because I saw Chris the Critic yesterday on a debate, right, in the 5th Ward, and it was hosted by the League of Women Voters. No shade to the League of Women Voters, but again, it is one more reason why I believe that we at What's in It for the Black People Media, as well as What's in It for the Black People, need to facilitate a series of black debates so we can get the conversation going for our own issues without being scared. Riis, you mentioned this before, but the Bears finished 3-14. Shout out to Lovie Smith.
Shout out to Lovie Smith. Said they gonna fire me. I'm gonna stick it to you.
Right. They said they gonna fire. First of all, y'all hired me in the token spot to cover up for the Deshaun Watson joint. Right? What?
It gave me no team.
Gave me no team, no nothing. And then you want to play me because now Deshaun is going back. He all good. So now y'all can kick the brother to the curb because they also had some race issues. Right? So they hired Lovie and they threw him out. So Lovie went for 2. He went for 2 to ensure that they did not get the first pick in the draft. So shout out to the Bears for the first pick in the draft, although I would have preferred the last pick in the draft.
Why?
Because that would have meant we probably won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. But right now, I'll take the first. It's good, even though they won't pick first. You know that, right?
Why, they gonna trade down?
For sure.
Trade down and give me 4 defensive players. Give me a defensive line for the first pick. Who's out there right now? That's the Chase
number 1.
Yeah. The old boy
Bryce Young, from Alabama.
We don't need him.
No, exactly.
But it's Bryce Young, but they defensive guy.
Yeah, correct. He's number 2.
They say they fighting between 1 and 2.
Yeah, but the Bears. So, and that's another reason why the reason why I thought it didn't really matter if Texas won or not anyway, because them 2 spots are already 1 and 2. The Bears won't pick a quarterback, so if Texas won anyway and they go second and the Bears go first, they know the Bears is not drafting a quarterback. So to them, it actually saves them money because, as you pick, your guaranteed money and your stuff, it goes down. So they actually save some money by going pick, and then they're going to draft the QB if, somebody don't come in that actually want them and not take it from the Bears.
So that's way more complicated to me
so
than it is. I just say it
like
like this. The Bears take that 1, crack that 1 up into 4 number 1s or 3 number 1s, right? Spread it out. Sell somebody they want Bryce Young. Tell them give us your first round pick for the next 4 years, right? And we'll be all good. And we won't. And you find somebody that's got 2 first round picks, but they got a 5 and a 10 or something like that. Right. You pick up 2 Alabama defensive linemen, right? Then you got all them other picks you already got in the first. Plus you got free agent money. Look, man.
Good, man.
I expect big things next year. I
thought it was pretty. And remember, we had this conversation last year when the black guy was fired or something, and they were just hiring coaches. And I told you, I said they only hired Lovie because of what was going on.
Hugh Douglas.
He didn't even get a year. They hired him on February 7th. He didn't even get a year in the league, and they knew that team was bad. You know what I'm saying? Black coaches never get that. They never get that rebuilding time. Oh, we know we in a rebuilding. You just traded away your quarterback. So like
I think we did a whole show on this.
Yeah,
right?
And I said he won't last. I said they just did this hunt. Here you go.
That was because of the dude from Miami.
Exactly.
He was a coach in Miami, and then he started talking. And then yep. Not Hugh Douglas, but
Hugh Jackson started saying that Hugh Jackson. They used to coach the
Miami
Browns.
Dolphins. Was he?
He was the Browns, and they never won. I think he was on the Dolphins.
Oh, he jumped on because it was the dude in Miami that was the one who started tricking.
The one.
Then Hugh, then oh boy,
he said, yeah, man, they made me lose in the Browns. So yeah. So I was like, yeah, I see it, but yeah, of course.
All right, y'all. Riis. All right, check this out. And we're going to talk about a little bit about this a little later too, but the assault weapons ban. Deacon, I really want to get a sense of black people on this thought of on the assault weapons ban, like I'd really like to just have a conversation and just ask where do black people fit. Brian Flores, thank y'all. Riis. So did I tell you last week over the break I went to the range and I went to go find my personal safety device? So last week I went to the range and went and got my personal safety device. And when I was there, my coach, Vince Bass, allowed me to shoot an assault rifle, an AR, right? Riis, so I shoot this AR and I'm like, man, I'll be back next week. I think I'm going to go and grab me one, right? Because you know that when you go get you a firearm, they make you wait 3 days at a minimum, but then you got to get another background check. My background check came back. No, they said your last name Jackson. So you going to get a background extra long time. But I was like, okay, I'll be back. So I went back to go pick up my you dig. Woo-wee. Speaking of picking up the you dig. Anyway, and Riis, so when I went there the first time, Vince took me on a tour of the assault rifles. And you know, their assault rifles range from like, you could get one from like $400 all the way up to a couple thousand. Riis, so I tried to time my haircut yesterday, right? Tried to time my haircut. Yesterday is funny because Carrie asked me how was the barbershop. And I was like, why are you asking me about the barbershop? She said, well, Dad, you did a whole show about the women being in the barbershop. I was like, I just started going earlier before they get there. But I tried to time my trip so that I could get my haircut and then drive out to Mokina to go pick up my dig. And then I was like, with this assault weapons ban, I think I might just grab me one just because, you know, if you get it before they pass the law, then you good. Hey, Riis, why was the parking lot full when I got there at like at 9:50? Parking lot full. Then, Riis, soon as I went in, there was like 2 walls of assault rifles. One wall was completely empty. It was a line to buy assault rifles and weaponry and all of that stuff. Riis, them white boys is ready. READT. Ready. Riis, it was crazy. And I feel like, first of all, I feel like you know what I really felt like? You know how I told you about the white guys who don't feel like look, Joe, they be like, please test me. Please test me because I have 300 guns on me right now. People was in there like, yeah, I can't get anything else in my safe, so I'm going to have to get another, right? And I was just saying, like, do they understand that they are having unintended consequences because everybody is buying assault rifles now because they want to get them in under the window? Dude said, oh, we ain't got that. I was like, can I see that? We ain't got that. Yeah, can I see that? I was online yesterday. I had picked out 5 different ones. They was like, sorry, all of them is gone. He said, I have never seen anything like this in my life. He said, everything we have now is on the floor. Riis, I wound up. I thought I was going to be like 6. Wound up but I tell you what, you try and come through that door, you got something coming. Oh, Jesus, I feel like I could jump out I could be on the SWAT team now, dog. Like, what's up? I feel like I was watching, do you ever watch Echo 3? I feel like I could be one of them Echo 3 dudes, man. Like, pew! They took out the whole, anyway, I'm just telling you they're having the unintended consequences of this potential assault weapon bans is white people are tooling up. But can I tell you what else I saw out there, Riis? It's a lot of black people out there. Like, and you know who be coming in there without no joke? Black women. Man, I seen Granty in that joint like, hey, pass me, well, she said, do you have a Desert Eagle? I was like, man, that bad boy is $2,000, Joe. But I'm here to tell you, boy, it was like all I could see was Clint Eastwood, like, go ahead, make my day. I feel like these robbers ain't gonna get the jump on some of these people. I'm just letting you know. All right, Then the last big thing I'm going to talk about in the headlines is Pastor Meeks passed the torch yesterday. Literally. He had a trophy torch, like a torch. You dig, Riis? And he passed it on to Reverend Pastor Charlie Dates, who'll be taking over Salem Baptist Church. Shout out to Reverend Meeks for all of his long-term service and his thing. You know, if there was one thing I could take back from Reverend Meeks, though, and I promise you I wish I could, if I could get this back, and it sounded like such a good at the end. You know, Reverend Meeks dried up the South Side. He voted like all of the bars and all of the lounges dry. Right? So, like, you know how Riis, you know, it used to be all type of lounges and all type of places you could go have a drink on the South Side. Reverend Meeks led the movement to dry out the 9th Ward that then passed the ordinance that allowed people to vote their precinct dry. And essentially what happened was all of the cool places, not all of the cool places, but a lot of places no longer could open up liquor stores, or not liquor stores, but black-owned liquor lounges. So it was just an interesting thing, because I think, like, how we look at alcohol as a negativity in our community, well, white folks be like, yo, cuz, we ain't opening no restaurant with no liquor. And you can still feel the effects today. Think about where you can go and be black and have a drink that ain't a hole in the wall, right? Like, it has prevented or it has stunted our growth or our development economically, because we looked at the lounge, the neighborhood watering holes as bad things in our communities. But what you found out was when they closed them is that nobody bought in and went in and rebuilt it and turned it into something else. So how many times can you drive through the city and see lounges that were once thriving business opportunities, right? Now just boarded up, shut up, and nobody's ever been able to move back into those places. I think that was one of the unintended consequences. All right, y'all, it's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man, DJ Riis, the ruler. Riis, I think I'm a little bit behind, but when we come back, we are going to ask the social media question of the day. So look, y'all, Maze, Riis, we'll be back after these messages.
The Maze Jackson Show will be back after this break.
Disney on Ice presents Frozen and Encanto in one exciting family experience. Sing along with Anna and Elsa in wintry Arendelle. And celebrate the power of love, Y Familia, with Mirabel and Bruno in the show everyone will be talking about, live in your hometown. Playing Chicagoland from January 19th through February 5th. Free parking with ticket purchase. Visit DisneyOnIce.com today.
Can I find a way to escape this madness? Lift my people from all this pain. Raise my daughter to be a good woman. Live a life that's not in vain. It's not hard to explain. I want a life that's beautiful. Life that's beautiful. We don't trust them. They don't trust us. We don't trust each other. Conflict is a must. We got war abroad. We got war at home. Paranoid people packing guns like cell phones. Need inspiration. Rise up to hold it down. Sick of seeing young bodies laying on the ground. We got to organize like they used to be. You wanna make it beautiful, you gotta stay true. Can I find a way to escape this madness? Lift my people from all this pain. Raise my daughter to be a good woman. Live a life that's not in vain. It's not hard to explain. I want a life that's beautiful. Life that's beautiful. Life that's beautiful. Life that's beautiful. I know good people, lives in the right lane, say the right thing, manage life and maintain. They dream every night, they pray every day. They build for the future and live for the day. The world is full of possibilities. Don't accept what you are, cause that's all that you see. Elevate your spirit, liberate your mind. Your life's transformation will come in due time. Can I find a way to escape this madness? Lift my people from all this pain. Raise my daughter to be a good woman. Live a life that's not in vain. It's not hard to explain. I want a life that's beautiful, life that's beautiful, life that's beautiful, life that's beautiful. I'm not saying that it's easy, I'm not saying that it's hard, but I know you can make it if you believe in God. Make something out of nothing, be the best that you are, and you can make life so beautiful. Life so beautiful. Can I find a way to escape this madness? Lift my people from all this pain. Raise my daughter to be a good woman. Live a life that's not in vain. It's not hard to explain. I want a life that's beautiful. Life that's beautiful. Life that's beautiful. Life that's beautiful. To escape this madness, lift my people from all this pain. Raise my daughter to be a good woman. Live a life that's not in vain. It's not hard to explain. I want a life that's beautiful. Life that's beautiful. Life that's beautiful. Life that's beautiful.
To the Maze Jackson Show. You are listening to the most dangerous show. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
For the black people, cause economically we are not equal. Waking up to lies, can't toast no more. I told y'all, yeah, this a dangerous show. Don't go to church if you ain't trying to help us. Don't even try to be around and can't protect us. We see the lies, not other politicians. We need money and no symbolism. It's Maze and Riis and Ruthie and Ty, explaining how we all come from God, giving us tools to beat the odds. If we united, our movement gon' stop. If they ain't tryna help us, they ain't tryna do nothing. We gotta do something, we gotta stop running. It's time to confront the problem. Really, you expect you oppressed and solve wrong.
That's right. Blue Phi, you already know what time it is. Shout out to the men of Phi Beta Sigma on our Founders Day. It was this day, January 9th, 1914. A. Langston Taylor, Leonard F. Morrison, Charles I. Brown brought together 12 young men to create Riis. What became, I'm going to stop referring to you in these moments. Recreate what I would call the greatest fraternity in the world. Now, there are other people with other opinions. I'm okay with that. But, you know, as for me and my house, we going to serve the brothers of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Man, Riis. Send a big shout out to, this is actually a big month for all the Black Greek letter organizations. So you just had the Kappas, you got the Sigmas, you got the AKAs, you got the Deltas, and you got the Zeta, women of Zeta Phi Beta as well, all this month. So it is like Black Greek month, National Pan Hell month. So I'll be planning to give everybody a shout. I really actually would like, y'all could tell y'all people if they want to call in for their day, they more than welcome to call in for their day. If y'all want me, I should. Well, see the thing be blue and white already. So maybe I'll switch it up and make the colors different for your day or whatever. We'll figure it out. But I feel like we should celebrate and have a little fun. I should have had a Greek sip tonight at Obsidian is what I should have done. Maybe I'll do one for the Zetas and for the Deltas or something like that and the AKAs. But yeah, it's the Mace Jackson Show. So Riis, I don't know if you saw this week or this weekend, but Fraternal Order of Police stepped out and endorsed Paul Vallis. Now remember we was trying to figure out if it was going to be Willie or Paul Vallis who they would support. And realistically, John Catanzaro went to church with Willie Wilson. He used to appear at places with Willie Wilson. I remember Carrie showed up somewhere and John Catanzaro was on the front row with Dr. Wilson. She was like, uh-oh. But when Chuy Garcia, listen to me. When Paul Vallis got the endorsement. Hold on, I'm trying to find it. Got the endorsement of the Fraternal Order of Police. The mayor suggested that he was no longer could be considered a true Democrat. Now, Riis, I'm not exactly sure how that works. And so I decided that I wanted to ask this question. So if you're ready, go ahead and hit the button.
It's time for the social media question of the day.
What qualifies a person to be a true Democrat? Riis, I don't know if you remember the signs that the mayor was putting up around the city of Chicago with Willie Wilson when it said Willie Wilson is a MAGA Republican who voted for Donald Trump and Bruce Rauner. Enough said. Remember that? And I was telling y'all about those pictures of those signs being put up all around the city. And I told you it was a cheap tactic. Hold on, Riis. I'm trying to. It was a cheap tactic, Riis, because I said that, as the mayor, you should put those on billboards, right? But I also got to this whole, are you really trying to call Dr. Wilson a MAGA Republican who voted for Bruce Rauner, and even if you voted for Trump, which obviously more than a lot of people that we know, I know a lot of black dudes that voted for Trump. I do, especially in the face of the way black Democrats, men have been treated in the Democratic Party. But that's a whole nother story. It was bothersome to me to see the mayor putting those billboards specifically, Riis, in black communities. Because you know what the first thing black people ask? Is he a Republican? Is he a Democrat? Because I just want to vote for the Democrat. Right? I remember when we was doing phone calls for the president and we would call and they'd be like, the first question everybody on the phone bank would say is she a Democrat? Because black people, they call them black. Is she a Democrat? No issues, no nothing. Is she a Democrat? She got us. And I think the mayor recognizes that. So then but I thought it was disingenuous. Vote for a true Democrat, vote for Lori Lightfoot, right? That was what the ad said. See it? Even I hope I put it up there for you. So then, when I saw that Paul Vallis was endorsed by the Fraternal Order of Police, I thought it would be a little trouble. But then I saw that the mayor said so much for Paul Vallis being a true Democrat. Now, I also want to point out that this election is nonpartisan, right? So you don't, nowhere on your ballot does it say Democrat or Republican, but we do know that people want to make that an issue. And for the mayor, so she's got to drive down because she's clearly in third place. She's not in the top two. It's clear, you can see by her body language, etc. Right? And so if she's not in the top two, then she's got to take whacks at, we're going to say that Congressman Garcia is the presumed front runner. Although, Riis, I got to be honest with you, and we'll talk about this a little bit later. Representative Garcia seems to, and maybe I'm just waiting, but he seems very underwhelming right now. I don't see any TV spots. Now, he could be employing the Rose Garden strategy, which is I won't spend any money because I'm at the top of the race, et cetera, et cetera. But he's not, I haven't seen very much from him. And we'll talk about that a little later. But I want to get back to this concept of what is a true Democrat. Now, you know my issue about being a true Democrat is that I believe that I am a true Democrat, but I am disgruntled with the way black people, particularly black men, have been regarded in this party. But I found it disingenuous of the mayor to call Paul Vallis to question his Democratic credentials because he got the endorsement of the Fraternal Order of Police. Riis, do you realize that the Fraternal Order of Police is going to probably endorse in 50 wards? So everybody who gets an endorsement, whether you ask for it or not, does that, if somebody that you, if the Republican Party of Illinois endorses Mayor Lightfoot, which I think they should, that would be hilarious. Riis, let me ask, does that take away from her Democratic credentials? Now, she don't necessarily ask for it, but does it take away from her Democratic credentials? So what I really want to get to now, though, is what qualifies a person to be a true Democrat? Now, according to the mayor, let me ask this. Is it your voting record? So if you've ever voted for a Republican, does that disqualify you from being a true Democrat, do you think? So, Riis, if I voted for a Republican in my lifetime, does that disqualify me as a Democrat?
No, but you're not a true Democrat.
Wait. Hold on.
A true Democrat always votes Democrat. They're true.
Okay. So.
But nah, if you vote, I think if you majority vote Democrat, then you're a Democrat. But like you said, I think it's crazy that how they use that to determine if you're right or not.
So, okay, so let's back up. Hold on. So voting record. So if you've ever voted for a Republican, does that disqualify you from being a true Democrat? Or how long ago does that have to be? Like 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, 5 years?
I just think sometimes it's the Republic that you vote for. So when you look, if you voted for Donald Trump, when you look at that, people look at Donald Trump as a bad man. So they try to, tie that with that. So, but I just think as long as you're not always flip-flopping, but if you majority vote Democrat, then, you're a Democrat.
But true Democrat.
True Democrat, then you got to always vote Democrat.
Okay.
So if you vote Republican, at least, probably, yeah. So I just think a true Democrat always vote Democrat the majority of the time, like at least 90 and up.
So you got to vote 90%. Okay.
Yeah, like 90 and up.
Okay. So let's go there. We'll go to that. Then, is it your associations? Can you be friends or an associate of a Republican and still be considered a true Democrat?
Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah, we just gotta pick your battles, I guess. Pick the ones.
So what what Republican can you not be associated with and still be considered a true Democrat?
Well, right now the big one is definitely Donald Trump.
Okay.
If you are associated, if they try to tie you with Donald Trump, then they try to, discredit any bit of Democrat you got in your blood.
Okay. Now, let's go to, is it your participation in, like, government? Can you have ever associated with a Republican in government? Like, can you have worked for, with, etc.? Like, can you?
I want to say yes. We clearly saw that in the governor's race when we watched and how they was talking about how my man Irvin that ran under this and then ran under that. So, and they said that he wasn't a true Republican. So just to show you how, like, on the other side. So it definitely depends. It's your history. It's like who you hang with. Like, everything ties into it.
Okay. So now, then my other question is it your values? Your democratic values?
Yes. So some things you have to be. So you could be a Democrat, but I think if you like I believe in abortion, then you you're a Republican.
Or you can't be a pro-life Democrat.
No, you
can't. Okay.
So they be like, no, you're a Republican. You're a Republican.
Okay. So Riis, this is what I want to do, because it bothers me when the mayor does things like this and then she ignores her own history. So Riis, the mayor has on numerous occasions when she ran last time indicated that she has pulled both Republican and Democratic ballots in her voting history, right? Which means that at some point in her life, she voted Republican, and she's on record suggesting that she has not always been a Democrat, has not always pulled a Democratic ballot. As a matter of fact, I'd be curious to know if she voted for Bruce Rauner. Hold on, let's see. Then I would go to, so let's back up. So here's where I would go. So on her voting record, the mayor has said on numerous occasions that she has supported Republican candidates for office. She has oftentimes labeled herself an independent. So if you've labeled yourself an independent, can you be a true Democrat? No, I don't think so, because if you've called yourself an independent, right, that means that a true Democrat means that he's voting for the Democratic person no matter what, right? There is no independent. So I don't know that she can call herself a true Democrat if she's claimed herself to be an independent at some point. Is that a fair assessment?
Yep.
Okay. So if you've been an independent, you cannot claim yourself as a true Democrat. You don't have to be anti-Democrat, but you've at some point said the Democrats ain't getting it done for me, which means that you've opened yourself up to considering both a Democrat or a Republican. Where I come from, there are Democrats here in Illinois that under no circumstances will they ever vote for a Republican. I don't care if the Republican was they cousin. That is a Illinois true Democrat. You cannot claim independence and then claim to be a Democrat, a true Democrat. Then, Riis, I went into my bag of tricks. Well, not my bag of tricks, because, then I went to the next question of, is it your associations? Riis, who did they say you could not be with and be a Democrat?
Donald Trump.
So does Ivanka count? Does Ivanka count? Because the first place that the mayor went after she got elected, and I think she must obviously forgot the picture here that we got of her going to the White House to open up. And here's what the Tribune had to say. If a picture is worth 1,000 words, what was Mayor-elect Lori Lightfoot saying by posing with Ivanka Trump? That's not my headline. Is that what a true Democrat does? Riis, have you seen a picture of any Democrat from Illinois with Ivanka Trump?
Nah.
Wait. So how long does it take for you to become a true Democrat? Okay. Okay. I'm gonna stop though. Is it your participation? Realistically, Riis, you know where we found both Paul Vallis and Lori Lightfoot? Yes. They both were in government under Mayor Daley. They both worked for Daley at the same time, right? So was Daley a Republican? Well, some people say yeah. But I just thought it was interesting that the mayor, who came from the same political lineage as Paul Vallis, while taking pictures with Ivanka Trump, can now call herself the true Democrat when they both came from the same space. Okay? Now, is it your participation? No, let's back up. Is it your associations? Riis, what does the mayor claim as her number one crowning achievement? That she was the mayor who led us through the most challenging pandemic in the world.
That's my mayor.
That's your mayor? Here's your mayor. Mayor Lightfoot announces new COVID-19 recovery task force comprised of industry experts, community leaders. Wait, this is from the City of Chicago website, April 23rd, 2020. And former White House Chief of Staff Samuel K. Skinner to advise city's recovery efforts to rebuild and come back. Today, the mayor announced the creation of the COVID-19 recovery task force. So she credits what her biggest claim to fame is to Samuel K. Skinner, former White House Chief of Staff and U.S. Transportation Secretary. Now, what they edited from this is, Riis, he wasn't for the Democrats. He was George Bush's Chief of Staff. So if you can't, let me just be clear. If there's one other despised Republican in this world, it was George Bush. Now, and this George the first one. So this is the war on drugs, George. Put the cocaine in South Central, George. Start the the incarceration of black people that has impacted us to this day. The best person that this mayor could find was Samuel K. Skinner, former White House Chief of Staff and U.S. Secretary Transparency, has served as the point person for numerous emergencies and crises, natural disasters such as Hurricane Hugo in the 2019 and the 1989 San Francisco earthquake. So she went all the way back to 1980. George Bush was the president when I was in college. And the best person that she could find to lead us out of this crisis, which is her biggest claim to fame, Riis, she gave it to a Republican to do. And then I talk about values. Because most people, and Riis, I need you to cue it up. Because when you think about values, you know what I think about?
Oh, we weren't playing it no more. Wait a minute.
I said I wasn't playing it that day. When I think about values, I think about the compassion, right? Democrats are supposed to be compassionate. And usually when they see black people, right? Like black people, whenever we got an issue, they run to the forefront and they very rarely find themselves in defense of the judge. Play the clip, please.
And I watched that video. Now, this case was litigated in federal court. The federal judge put in place an order. There's allegations that she has violated that. A federal judge put rules in place. It's for that judge to determine whether or not that was appropriate. I'm not going to sit here and second guess a federal judge.
Sounds pretty Republican to me.
How the information related to that matter is handled. That's for that judge who I know and is very competent and I'm sure will be fair in assessing.
Because the COPA has not yet made a decision in 22 months on this?
I just, look, we got to fess up and we got to clean it up.
You have the wrong place! You got the wrong house! You got the wrong house!
We will and we must continue to say her name.
So, Riis, I think that the mayor can ill afford to get into the debate of who is a true Democrat. I think that she believes that her covering her and realistically, let's be clear, her association with the White House was it was a symbiotic relationship. There were very few places in the country that Joe Biden, and there are still very few places that Kamala Harris can go and be well accepted. And so what you find is that they have created a symbiotic relationship, and where she initially went, Riis, here, I think that when the mayor went to go meet with Ivanka Trump, she was still betting on Donald Trump winning again. As a matter of fact, I have often likened her style to Donald Trump. But Riis, I don't know. Again, I think that the mayor be forgetting that there is documentation of her relationships and the things. Now, let me tell you, as I go to Google and as I go to the internet, what I can see is that she has taken all the keywords and pressed her history down. So you got to go to page 12, 13, 14 and go get it. You can't find this on page 1. You can't find this on page 2. You got to go to page 12 or 13 because just think, Riis, 2 days after she got election, she went to have a great discussion on topics including economic revitalization, workforce development, vocational education, criminal justice reform, and crime prevention with Donald Trump. Now, when Ice Cube did that, y'all cooked him. When anybody black went and said, I want to cut a deal, y'all cooked them. Now, I know somebody will make an excuse and say, well, it was Ivanka. So Ivanka's the good Trump? Just want y'all to, because the first thing black folks say, regardless of what folks say, you got to look at what they do. All right, y'all, this is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about, I really want to talk a little bit about inauguration day today. Plus, I don't know if you all have heard the big news, but State Senator Patricia Van Pelt, State Senator Patricia Van Pelt is stepping down. Is opening up a spot. Riis, I was thinking I live in State Senator Patricia Van Pelt's Senate district. I think I might want to try and go after that seat, Riis, since they got to appoint somebody.
Yeah, all right.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like, why not me? But you know what's going to happen, right? Remember the last time, was you around the last time I tried to go for an appointment?
No.
My cousin Tyrone showed up, and they blew my whole joint up. Like, they talked through my interview, screamed, called me all type of sellouts, all that. Now, we've since healed our relationship.
Your cousin.
No, I'm saying Ty and Mark.
Oh.
So my chance to be the state representative, I was trying to be the state representative at the time. And so they had interviews, and Mark and Tyrone came into my interview and then talked through it and was like, oh, we don't want that new familiar. And it was kind of crazy. And it was like, fam, I don't even know you. It was actually how Tyrone and I became somewhat associated, because I was like, why would you come to, y'all know I had, like, I think one of the things was, you know, Riis, when you see all the appointments and you be like, I'm smart, I'm intelligent. And now it looks like they're trying to appoint someone else. But I'm trying to decide, should I throw my hat into the ring to be nominated for the state Senate. She's stepping down. I mean, I live in a district. You know, probably everybody and their mama, like all the institutions would be like, nah, we don't want them. But I mean, I don't know that there would be a black person that would be more black advocating for black people unapologetically. I'm saying y'all got all them members down there. Like, Riis, I feel like I could be a quality representative for black people.
Who running so far? Do you know anybody? Nobody?
There's some names floating around. There's some people that want to be promoted or move from different places, and I'm not going to hate on nobody. But I do feel like I don't feel like that seat should be discussed, and I live in a district, and I shouldn't even at least take a crack at it, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it's probably, I think the odds are stacked against me because I'm too black, but then I think, like, if they deny me the opportunity, then should I just run for it? Because it wouldn't be like somebody that's been there forever. And it's like, I think it'd be tough to run against me in a black space with black people. Now, I'm going to tell you, they would get all the white people that they could find would get together and get behind the black candidate and try to do everything they could to damage me. But I do feel like Riis, like realistically, I do feel like I could be a voice for black people in the state Senate. Like, unapologetic. And I already realized people ain't going to be my friend, which means that I'm going to be able to go down there and stand on, I would go down there and stand on it, but it is kind of crazy. So we're going to talk about all of this and what's happening, because, you know, the powers that be probably already got a plan for the seat. But Riis, I do feel like, man, who blacker? I'm not saying that there's, Riis, I'm not scared to be for the people. I'm not scared to speak on the issues that impact us. You probably wouldn't get me to vote on the cannabis bill if we didn't have none, right? They probably wouldn't have been able to talk me into it regardless, right? Like, all of the things that happen, and I probably get in trouble because they probably don't want me, because I would come down here. Like, I probably would keep the morning show going at that point, right? Because I would be giving you real-time action on what's going on, which is probably why everybody will work to stop me from getting it. But I was just thinking, like, I wonder, could I build a people's movement? And people, like, press on it, and, you know what I'm saying? And be like, could we? Because I do feel like I would. Well, anyway, let's talk about it when we come back. It's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. We got my man, DJ Riis the Ruler. We'll be back. We're going to talk about what's going on in the in Springfield today, because a lot of people is on the road right now. They probably listening to us. So if you're listening to us on the road, Mays Jackson for state senate. How about that? Right? I think we should get on top of that. We'll talk about it some more when we come back. It is the Mays Jackson Show.
The Mays Jackson Show will be back after this break. Mays Jackson.
Byron, you got a nomination for the vice president of the phone club.
Say what?
Dang, Byron. Look, Tennille done nominated you for the vice president of the phone club. Riis has seconded. All those in favor of Byron being the vice president of the phone club signify by saying aye. Go once, going twice. And you are now officially the vice president of the phone club. So Byron, we will be expecting to hear from you regularly. So you and Katie will have an exec board meeting and let us know the rules of engagement on the phone. And Riis is now in your number one fan club. But you got to remember whose show it is, Byron. Don't forget, because Riis will have you thinking, you know how these millennials will do.
I know who paid the bills. I know who paid the bills.
Mays Jackson.
It's the Mays Jackson Show, where every single day we ask the question, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them, Mays said. We out.
Steve Stanton.
I've never been lucky at love, no never. I've never been good at holding on. A heart broken so many pieces. But I'll just keep on moving on because I'll never give up on love, no never. No, never. And I'll never give up on trust, whatever come what may. All that I wanna say, that true love's gonna come my way. Alright, I'm looking for a lover for me. Could you be the one for me? Yeah. Alright, just looking for forever for me. For me. See, I never ever thought that I could love again. I never ever thought that I could ever win. But don't ever give up, no, and don't ever give in. See, I pray that true love finds me in the end. I'll never give up on love. I will never. And I'll never give up on trust. I will never. Looking for a lover for me. See, I'm looking for a lover for me, yeah. And it's alright. Looking for forever. I'm looking for forever. For me. I wanna come home every night. Hey, make love to her right. Remind her that she's the only one that I need. She's the only one. I'm gonna treat her like mine. See, I'm gonna give her everything. Whatever she wants. Plus a 10-carat diamond ring. Baby. Woo. I'm looking for a lover for me. Looking for a lover. Could it be you? And it's baby, it's alright. Looking for forever for me. I'm looking for forever for me.
You are listening to the Mays Jackson Show. I'm your host, Mays Jackson. Got my man DJ Riis to rule on the ones and twos. Riis, I was talking about this before I went down to before we went to break. I'm gonna talk about it a little bit more, but I don't know if you have heard, but State Senator Patricia Van Pelt is planning on stepping down. I happen to live in the district, right? It's funny because people say, May, I think that a lot of people here, buy into the, it's like the, sometimes on the show, I think sometimes people buy into the whole, Maze, you so crazy, you so whatever, you can never. I would argue that I've been pretty diplomatic in my life. I think on the morning show we do our thing, but I'm 52 years old, right? Like, I know how to make friends. I know how to disagree without being disagreeable. And I don't think that we win on every vote. But you just know that when it's time for an issue that impacts black folks, if we ain't getting our fair cut, now I'm just not going to be. They probably going to have the votes to do it. Now, there's other issues. Every issue that comes to Springfield, there's probably a black component, and I probably would ask about it to be like, what's up? But I think that there's thousands of votes that you can find things on. But when it's soft serve, when it's black people getting soft serve and everybody else getting the hard ice cream, that's probably when we'll run into conflict. But that conflict will be better for us. And at least we don't just lay down. At least they have to stand to plan proactively, right? To say, dang, we know that, one, not only will it be the issue in his vote, but he will raise the awareness of it so that we get our fair points. Now, I don't know, man. I just think.
So now who will vote for you in that? Just the district?
No, so in this, it's not a special election. It would be requiring the weighted vote of the Democratic committeemen. So the two biggest, the people who can really make the determination are Alderman Burnett and Jason Irvin. Those two together would be able to have the most. They'd have to pick up one other person, but between the two of them, now, you know, but sometimes you got to worry about your friends, be like, man, I don't want to be too associated with Mace. However, again, I'm saying, like, you know, everybody got, so here's the thing. I think it's very easy, and I think people enjoy the ability to discount me. I think I would love the opportunity to put my credentials up against everyone. Not only that, though, Riis, I think that as a person, when we see black turnout decreasing everywhere in the city, I think we provide a motivational reason for people to get involved. Right? Like, I think we have, I don't want to get into it right now, but I just want y'all to know that there is a new seat that is opening up. And essentially, I at least want to ensure, this is not to take away from any other candidate, but I don't know how many opportunities we would have to put someone directly in a space that advocates, that has the credibility, I would say, to advocate for us, specifically in the Senate. You know, I've stood up for state representatives and people, like even when our black legislature was under attack by big white men, right? When everybody else kind of chilled out and sat back, we mounted up and went down, right? Like, when everybody could tell us why we wouldn't, you know, like the misinterpretations and all that, I think we went and said, look, fam, we gonna have we didn't go down to Springfield and offer to fight nobody. What we said was, there's a level of decorum and a level of respect that we expect that you're going to have for anybody black, period. Whether I agree with you politically or not, what's not going to happen is you're not finna be walking up on nobody. And in case nobody down here told you that, we here just to make sure that it's clear. And I don't think that there was at any point, I think people like to play into the whole, Maze is crazy and he don't know how to talk to people. No, fam. That's a narrative that benefits people who would prefer me to stay in the crazy space. But I think anytime we talk to anybody, people be like, oh, just like in the last election cycle, I was working with people from the Madigan team who was like, dang, man, we thought you was crazy. It's great to have people that have the same work ethic. I'm glad to know that you are a fighter. Glad to not be fighting against you. And just think about, instead of thinking about it from the premise of me fighting against, but we're working together. That's all. So, Riis, I don't know, man.
You should do it, man.
Huh?
I think you should do it.
You know, I just be thinking, like, I don't want to go in there to fix being, and then I get my feelings hurt, right? And then it's like, then I be mad. Then I have to run for it. So let's Let's talk about it, though. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe we have to have a meeting, and maybe we have to open up a West Side branch, yo. We have to move the Obsidian headquarters to the West Side. Or open up a second one.
There you go.
Hey, man. It's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Can I, would y'all support me? Like, how many people live out west, though? Like, our audience is all out south. How many people out west? Because I feel like sometimes people be like, we don't, it could be, we want somebody that ain't going to talk too much. What you think? I don't know. Anyway, y'all, it's the Maze Jackson Show. Look, I'm probably getting in trouble losing votes as we talk now. But anyway, I do think it would be great for us, not to say that there aren't any vociferous advocates, but I do think that I'd be a very qualified candidate for state senator in replacement of Patricia Van Pelt Watkins. Not Watkins anymore. But I would love, I feel like I would want to use this platform as well to increase the awareness and increase the pressure. Because again, I think I have a solid record of advocating for our community, unapologetically. And I would put that up against pretty much any candidate. I do have a significant knowledge of the system and how things work. And I also am a people person when I need to be. But okay, let's talk about it. Riis. Today, the governor and the constitutional officers are installed in Springfield. Now, on Wednesday, the state reps and state senators will get sworn in. I'm excited for two of my guys, Cyril Nichols and Willie Preston, right? Both of those guys are going down there. I don't know. I got to be careful because I don't know if people be like, if I'm allowed to say their names, because they be like, I'm down in Springfield now, so I don't know if I could really be saying Maze Jackson like that. But I'm excited for their inaugurations or their swearing-ins as they are elected for the first time and won their elections. Super proud of those brothers. But today, Riis, the big deal, everybody is headed down to Springfield. You know why, Riis? Because the governor is getting inaugurated. But I got to tell you, I think the governors I think the governor is the sideshow this time. Because do you realize, Riis, for the first time in 20 plus years, Jesse White will be making his exodus from Springfield. So I'm not going to say this is the last time he's going down. But I would tell you that I don't know that J.B. Pritzker, in spite of all of his money, in spite of his dominant win, is the story today. Because JB's been inaugurated before, Mike Frericks been inaugurated before, Kwame's been inaugurated before, and Susanna Mendoza have been inaugurated before. So they're all at least on their second or third rounds of being elected. So, they're going to have, like Riis, like when you a starter, it's like you ain't, you start. This is what I do. But when you just made it to the starting lineup and the coach just told you, you got the green light, as a matter of fact, we got the star of the team is slowing down a little bit. He came back from camp a little overweight, so he got to get some conditioning in. But the coach say, hey, I like them Jordans you've been rocking in the TV commercials. The people seem to respond to you. You got a little money. You got a little Hollywood in you. You know what? Alexi, you got the green light. Now, Alexi, you going to be coming in. You are Shaq replacing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So you have the scoring champ, but you are one of the stars now. And you looking at Magic like Magic, you kind of old. Magic being JB. Well, Magic is looking for the trade because he's trying to become the president. But Magic also has got to get on the treadmill Because respectfully, we have all said on numerous occasions, you cannot be the president, a rotund president. Just respectfully. And so, Riis, I think what we need to be watching are the cues from Alexi and listening to Alexi today, Secretary GIannoulias, to be. We should be listening to his comments today because that should give us a clue to his future. Now, he may be subdued and say, hey, it's all about the office. But, Riis, let's be clear. He is already looking at the starting number one spot. And he might be the biggest supporter of JB for a president. Why, Riis? Because up and out is the way of Illinois. If you go be the president, then the governor spot is open. Right? And I got the most jobs in the state. I got the most people. He gets to inherit an organization. And at the same time, Riis, he got the most jobs in the state of Illinois. So right now, let me tell you who is the scariest people in the world. The exempt employees. The people who are in these places, because guess what that means? If you're an exempt employee, it means that you finna get, if you run a driver's license facility, Femo, that's our people now. So what I would look for right now, Riis, and this is the thing that I want to pay attention to, and we should be watching as black folks. This is going to be a signal for us. You should watch what happens at 99th Street, and you should watch what happens at the driver's services facilities on the west side. Riis, if you go into those places now, they are blackalicious. From the manager, from the rooter to the tutor, they are blackalicious. They know who they serve. Now what you need to be watching is who gets swapped out. Because you know what happens, Riis? All of the top department head jobs, for the most part, depending on what Mr. White negotiated in his exit plan. And remember, he wasn't with Alexi. So now he's been spending all his time trying to catch up to Alexi. And Alexi, you can't play Jesse White. But I know, Riis, you know in the back of your mind, you was like, you wasn't with me, right? You was with the other girl. Even though I've known you all these years, you chose Anna Valencia. So my concern is that in spite of all of the wonderful, hey, we love yous and you the greatest, it's going to be a bloodbath. Because, Riis, if I'm the new chief and it's $20,000, $100,000 a year jobs, guess who getting them jobs, Riis? You can keep your job, but you going to be working you ain't making more than my people. And this is what I think we're not, like, I think this is where you're going to see the difference in not having Jesse White there, right? In that, like, and we gave Jesse White a hard time because he was a true Democrat. Right? True Democrat. No, he never endorsed, Alexi endorsed a Republican that they tried to use against him. It didn't work. But what is concerning for me right now is, what does Alexi look like the first week or 2 weeks in office? Now, Riis, you got to keep people on so you can know what they do. But after you got a sense of what they do, guess what you're doing? You're going to be offering people retirements. You're going to tell them that it's time for them to go. But I cannot imagine, I got to be honest with you, in my entire political life, I am not going to, it's going to be crazy to imagine you're going to have a new driver's license with no Jesse White on it. You're going to go to driver's license facilities, and now you can't spell Jesse White. You're going to have to spell Alexi, GIannoulias, right? Like, you think about all of the changes. Think about all of the drivers, because guess what's happening right now? Right now, every team is loading up. They got their glass thing so they could take his name off the glass. They're going to take his name down off of everything today, and up will go Alexi GIannoulias. Today.
Oh, man, I should have went and got me a new license.
Today. Riis. Hey, Joe, if I'm the new chief, I ain't no old chief. The world starts, part of this whole thing is the part of the whole political process is this switchover. So Riis, they're scraping his name, and as they go into, so what'll happen is, as they go into, because Jesse White is the Secretary of State up until Alexi gets sworn in. So right now, Jesse White probably is in his office. They probably done cleaned it up. They done took everything, and he's going to take that last walk to, I wonder, is it at the Springfield Convention Center? Well, he will take the stage. He will sit there, and the oath of office will be given to Alexi. He will then, at that point, the security detail. Now, I don't know. I'm sure that they're not going to do him like they did Rod, right? Because he's leaving honorably. But Riis, I don't know. Does he get to keep his security detail? So now he's got to have a driver, a person that takes him. Because everything that we knew for all of these last 24 years, gone today. They scrape, when he walks into the place, immediately they're going to be scraping his name. They're going to be taking nameplates down. People are going to be scrambling all over. And because he runs the physical plant, so because he controls all the janitor stuff and everything in the state, right, Riis? It's like, can you imagine your name is now going to be on thousands of driver's license facilities. There's going to be no county in the city where you can't go, you don't have a ballot. Every library is reports to you. The organ donors, right? Will you see the Jesse White tumblers anymore? I'm sure you will, but think about realistically, Alexi will come up with his own thing. I mean, Jesse White will have the tumblers and they can go travel around the world. But if I am the new Secretary of State, fam, you're not finna have nobody flipping with your name in my joint. And so I do want us to take a moment to recognize the Black history that is leaving us, right? I think we on this show, because of our Wakandanness, have not always been the friendliest to Jesse White, but I must be honest with you. You all you're going to see the difference. You're going to go into driver's license facilities, and that job of the person that runs the facility, Riis, that's a $7,500, $1,000 a year job. You got to go, fam. That's me and my people. That's why everybody who worked on the campaign. This is where it's supposed to pay off.
That don't look funny though. Like
no, hell no.
That's been there for 25 years. You can't.
Bye. But man, Joe, you hit your stuff. If you was there for 25 years though, you should have a pension. So ride out.
It's my job,
Famo. This is what I'm saying now. I gotta believe Jesse White has been smart enough to negotiate the spots for his key positions. But you also gotta think, Riis, he's been there 24 years. So I just was thinking about being in the organization and the people that I knew what they started out as, where they kids, we was coming to the meetings and they kids was running around the meeting. We'd be like, sit down, be quiet, whatever. Well, now their kids is down in Springfield. Their kids are running around, and so their kids have graduated from college. So Mr. White did what he was supposed to do. He stayed in office long enough that the people that were with him were able to provide a life for their families to grow and go. When you look at the number of families that were part of the 27th Ward organization, when I got there, when Cabrini was still there, when we met in the basement of Marshall Field Gardens, Riis, I have seen people for 20-something years grow, and then Riis, grow, get jobs. I've seen people get their start and retire. And now their kids are on, and they started out in the projects, and now they got a crib somewhere else, and their kids have gone to college, or their kids have gone on. So he did his job politically. And now, what I need for us to understand is that which was housed in our community is now being housed in the Greek community. And so this would be the time when the Greek community would be able to flex and step up their power. So my bet is I would look at all them donors, all of them, look, all the leases for all the Secretary of State facilities, all of the money, all of the contracts, all of the multi-billions of dollars. Riis, that's economics. That is why you play. Those are the spoils of victory. And so as you look up today and as you drive past 99th Street today, right? Well, today they closed. But when you go to 99 tomorrow, you might not hear Sirius Satellite with all the 1980s music on. Hey, man, I used to love going to that facility, Joe, because it was like a straight black, like they got you in and out, but you had a good time while you was there. But Riis, all of the top spots switch over today. Well, we don't know which ones, because I don't know. Like, let me just say this. Part of the reason that you see someone like Jesse White work so hard for Alexi in the general, even though there wasn't, and this is why I have a challenge. So, Riis, now Jesse White, as he leaves, his last mission is to protect as many of his direct people that he can if they don't decide to retire. Which is why you saw him campaigning so hard, because we have to hope that, again, he doesn't hold the fact that Jesse White was not with him against him when he makes his decisions. Now, I will tell you this. I heard somebody say this one time. It's funny, from an old Chicago politician. If you with me in the primary, you get a big piece of the pie. If you with me in the general, you get a smaller piece of the pie. If you wasn't with me at all, guess what you get? Good government. Right? And so be on the lookout. The good thing Jesse White was with him in the primary. I mean, in the general. Right? But I do think you got to look at all of those people that signed up with Alexi on the first go round. Riis, all of those people. Remember how I told you back in the day? You win. You win. You win. You go to the person that you won for and you say, this is what I'm supposed to get. Be interesting to see. Look, y'all, it is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man, got my man, DJ Riis to rule on the ones and twos. Look, when we come back, we'll continue the conversation. We'll be back after these messages.
The Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back after this break.
Disney on Ice presents Frozen and Encanto in one exciting family experience. Sing along with Anna and Elsa in wintry Arendelle. And celebrate the power of love. Y Familia with Mirabel and Bruno in the show everyone will be talking about. Live in your hometown. Playing Chicagoland from January 19th through February 5th. Free parking with ticket purchase. Visit DisneyOnIce.com today.
Ain't got nothing to prove. friends get mad. Focus on your mission and get to your bag. Get to your bag.
A lot of thoughts in my mind, gotta designate what to leave, what to take, and appreciate. A lot of people talk fly, but I levitate. Rise above with the love when I meditate. When I meditate.
Back to the Maze Jackson Show. You are listening to the most dangerous show. This is What's in It for the Black People Radio. Maze Jackson. Maze Jackson, the most vociferous advocate for black people in the world.
For Ruthie Moore, for Ty Stroger, I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show, asking every single day, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them Maze said, Mayor Lightfoot, man, we ain't accepting that. We ain't accepting that. Let's go. Yeah. Let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts, man. Lightfoot seems more in black. Rahm Emanuel's another case. He was just as tired. 50 closed schools left much to be desired. Police had Anjanette naked on that body cam. They suppressed the footage so it couldn't touch a lot of hands. Reminds me of that 16 shots in that cover-up. Both of them similar, so I went and dug it up. George Floyd killed, a lot of riots happened in the town. Southside burned and they wouldn't let them bridges down. Grandmother sick, need a prescription and plus a couple groceries. You gon' have to travel just to get it now. COVID-19 out here shutting all the business down. Not enough SBA loans to even give around. So many failed businesses that you could put them in the pile. If you don't survive the pandemic, it's gon' sit you down. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. Shout out to Willie Wilson, hope one day you get to Senate. We need some different players in the game to handle business. Too many shady characters like Madigan and Blago. But when you really break it down, it's typical Chicago. City full of gangsters, it's what the land was built on. Same streets with hood legends, DNA get spilled on. Carjackers out here lurking, trying to get they steal on. Looking for a block to put them Hellcat wheels on. Let us give bogus appraisals a red line. Car crackers out here getting minimal fair time. Enough to seal carry, I stay with the pipe. But Illinois gun laws giving minimal rights. Stay up on the swivel, make sure I'm moving tight. Check all of my mirrors when I pull up to the light. Pick my homie up from out of town, man, he caught a flight. He was hella nervous, told him, shorty, this is a way of life. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. Wake up, Chicago! Wake up, world. This is the Maze Jackson Shizzo. Oh, man. It is the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man, DJ Riis, the ruler. I want to talk about national politics. I also want to open up the phone lines. Give us a call, 872-259-7474. Blue fight, you know, Sigma, too cold. Greetings, big brothers of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Phi Beta Greetings, big brothers of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Who are electrifying, terrifying, devastating, woo, too cold. Frats, miserable crescent today, sir. In the name of Sigma, greatest of all fraternity, sir. Man, they used to burn them bad boys in. What are excuses? Excuses are tools of the incompetent, used to build monuments of nothingness. Those who use them seldom amount to anything. I will hardly give excuses to my big brothers, sir. Because, we couldn't say no. So we had to come up with a hardly, sir. Remember when, what's up? Phi Beta Sigma. What's down? All of the fraternities, sir. Right? Oh, yes, it is a great day to be a Sigma. It is a great day. I want to be a Phi Beta Sigma. I want to be a Phi Beta Sigma. Don't be no A Phi A. Don't be no Ka Psi. Don't be no Q Psi Phi. Phi Beta Sigma till the day I die. Y'all remember that? I was walking through the valley, standing tall, searching for Phi Beta when I started to fall. So I stomped on the Alpha, I kicked the Q, I pimp slapped the Kappa, and I walked on through. The road is long. I know it, bro. Searching for Phi Beta. The road is long to Sigma land. I said the road is long. Searching for Phi Beta. The road is long to Sigma land. Well, all you alphas and you kappas and omega psi phi, you can kiss my till the day I die. The road is long. Whoa, searching for... Yeah, man. Making me have flashbacks. Tonight on the 119th and Loomis, we going to be getting it in. Riis, they be trying to get me to do the walks around the party. I can't even keep up, man. My knees be bad. My gout be acting up. I remember I used to be at the party like, woo! Man, I couldn't step, though. I couldn't do none of the party walks. So I just knew one or two. I was like the dude at the back of the line talking smack to everybody. Like, touch somebody, I'm hit you with this cane. Anyway, lives have changed. Lives have changed. Shout out to all of the members of the Divine Nine. Y'all, when I was there, it was the Elite Eight. It wasn't no Divine Nine. But that's okay. The National Panhandle, as y'all call it, politically correct. It is Founders Day. Shout out to A. Langston Taylor, the Honorable A. Langston Taylor, the Honorable Leonard F. Morris, and the Honorable Charles I. Brown. Shout out to all the bros. Shout out to the barbershop, too. All right, y'all, it's the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Riis, 15 votes it took your man, but he finally became the speaker, Kevin McCarthy. Riis, that is a less... How many rejections could you take? Riis, I'm going to tell you, you take it away from me one time, I'm going to be like, man, y'all kiss my... I told y'all kick rocks. 15 no. Riis, he had to go through 15 times of 400 people being like, no. Man, he got to one no vote. Riis, I don't know if you watched this, and I wasn't planning on watching it, but then it came down to the last vote. And dude, literally the Republicans was about to start fighting. One of the Republicans had to grab one of the Republicans from Alabama and put his hand over his mouth and snatch him back. But then, Riis, something happened. I gotta find this video because one of the Republicans walked up to Matt Gaetz because Matt Gaetz was the last vote, the holdout vote, and he got real close to him and he started whispering. And Matt Gaetz, you know how when somebody they defiant, they like, man, you know how you got that look like you don't care what you say. Then it was like one dude walked up to him and whispered in his ear. And you know how your face be twisted in there and you be like, your mama say, now, you know when we get up out of here, I'm gonna put you up, right? You around here, but you got a show right now, but you know I got the foul on you, dog. And when we leave up out of here, you do not want to see these pictures of you and the 17-year-old that we caught you with on the internet. And you saw Matt Gaetz like, I'd like to change my vote. Riis, I'm here to tell you that was okay. How many times could people tell you no before you say I quit? I'm out.
I mean,
depending on how bad you want it.
He was there for the long run. He was like, man, yeah, why not?
I'm gonna wait this bad boy out. We ain't got nothing better to do.
Let's see who get tired first.
Well, apparently the holdouts got tired first. All right, Riis, did I tell y'all that there's an open, it's in the Politico today too. Patricia Van Pelt says that she is leaving the Senate because she would like to go to a place that is more peaceful. She tired of fighting. She tired of mixing it up. Riis, I'm ready to mix it up. I think I can make a great state senator. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty active in the community. I probably have to go do some more meeting with some of the community groups, but I feel like I could find agreement with most people in the district. And unlike other people who think, I have plenty of white friends. I have plenty of Latino friends. No, really. And relationships with organizations, and I feel like I'm qualified. I mean, I'm looking at everybody else. No diss to anybody else, but I'm smart. And when you see that your retiring senator says that she's tired of fighting, Riis, I don't feel no ways tired. I come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy, but I don't believe he brought me this far. I don't believe he brought me this far. I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me. So I feel like, man, Joe, I feel like always the bridesmaid, never the bride. You know, Riis? Like, you know, when you, like, I eat, sleep, and breathe the political stuff. Like, I'm going to read all the bills. I'm going to tell y'all what happened. You're going to be represented. You know, I wish, you know, that Alderman Irvin would support me. I mean, we go back as Young Democrats. I know I ain't part of this 28th Ward organization. I would hope that Alderman Burnett would be able to support me. Right? Then I'm thinking about, like, then it's like Byron Sigcho Lopez, and there's some other people that we got to get some from. But I'm just saying, like, man, Riis, I think we need a vociferous advocate for black folks in Springfield. Right?
Man, I think you might. I think you'll do good there, man. You think they'll bring up any craziness though? Like, do you think there's anything that'll hold you back?
Yeah, I think that my unabashed stance for black people will hold me back. Because I think it will be black people saying, man, we don't need that black man down there stirring up the pot. And I'm suggesting that that's exactly what we need. Right? Like, I want you to know your state senator. I want you to know the work that I'm doing, not to take away from anything anybody else. But Riis, we've had some very big issues pass us up that we have not come through on the top side. Just cannabis and gaming alone. Riis, how many cannabis dispensaries are out west?
None, I know.
How many people have a participation in the game, in the sports betting or gaming besides your man? I mean, on the west side?
None, I know.
Riis, billions of dollars in investment. Tell me what, if you get outside of the 27th Ward in the hot areas, what's going on farther west, man? Right? And it's no shade to anybody. But what I am suggesting is that, and you know, I know how to talk to everybody, so you know that I'm going to be trying to bring the resources home. But I am dangerous. And I do think that there's a lot of people that's like, I probably will not be the soft-serve senator. Now I recognize politics and the political dynamics. But you know, deep down, Riis, like deep down, I don't really like to be telling people, and I tell people nah because, you know, I know that my positions, I could imagine that the governor, the senator, and the Senate president would be like, hell no. Because he's going to ask us questions. He won't just go along to get along. And he's going to talk about it. What you do know is I'm going to come talk to you. You know I'm going to explain it to you. You know I'm going to break it down. It's the Maze Jackson Show. We got anybody on the live line? Call you on the Maze Jackson Show.
Good morning, Maze. Good morning, Riis, the ruler.
Uh-oh. Is that Tyrone? Is that worldwide? Is that worldwide, Ty? You about to take worldwide West spot, man. I done seen you in Baltimore, Washington, D.C. Then I seen you in L.A. Now you're back in the city. I see you getting a big award at the United Center. Dog, you done blew up. You got time for... I'm surprised you even got time to call little people anymore.
Hey, man, quit playing, man. I'm for the people. I am the people. I am the little people. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So, hey, listen, man. I'm just going to say this here, man. I'm coming on the show tomorrow, man. I'm going to just have to come on myself since you ain't going to invite me. Listen, I'm worldwide, but he won't invite me. But y'all, he'll invite all these bootleg people want to be politicians on his show. And he ain't called me. I'm putting him on the spot right now.
Hold on. Hey, Riis, hold on. Who sat in on my... How many people have I ever let sit in my chair? 1 week I had people sit in the chair. Oh, and who was in my top 5? Right? In my top 5, right? Oh, now get it right? Even though my wife over there, hold on. I'm out here. Every time somebody asks me what's going on in the fourth ward, I'm Tracy Bay, right? Now I don't want to put that. I'm not gonna mix that up right now. But family. You know, you got an open door. First of all, this dude say, "Can I come on the show tomorrow?" And I look up and he in Los Angeles. Right. Man, you ain't had me on the show. Now you in LA.
He meant virtually.
He was like, I want to host the show virtually. Man, get up out of here with that. What's up, Tyrone Muhammad?
Hey, man, listen, bro. Of course, you need to run for the Senate because you tired of this. And I understand you tired of this weakness of these black people you've been representing. I would be you done with them anyway. So you might well go serve them in another capacity. So I'm gonna say this to you. You know, I'm gonna speak the truth regardless of whom or what. Maze. Somebody got to be in that office, bro, that's gonna speak to black issues and what's going on without selling out once they get there, bro. I understand deals got to be made. But once you get there, man, make it be unapologetic about why you there and who sent you there. And that's the whole issue with it, bro. No, you know, we allies, we friends. And most definitely, I'm going to push to make sure that on our end, that everybody know you need to be in that seat. And furthermore, I'm just tired, bro, of us not really holding our elected officials accountable. Here we go again. We got the whole attorney general again. And we seen Kwame Raoul ever in the hood. Nothing about anything. Nothing. Real statute that he investigates that he stands on. I ain't seen none of that. And I'm just telling you, JB, all of this crap, man, with what we dealing with and going through in these cities, and we keep talking about Democrats, Republicans. We keep talking all of this party politics. Bro, what's in it for us? It doesn't even matter about the party. If you're still talking about what's a true Democrat or what's a true Republican, in this state, this time, this age, and what we're dealing with, and not dealing with the issue that black women, children, even on the CTA are being accosted, robbed, beat, and no one says anything and those candidates that's running for mayor, nobody is qualified. I want to tell you, really want to say something, but without endorsing nobody, there ain't but really one qualified person running in the candidate in the mayor's seat right now. There's only one, and I ain't gonna say nothing because I don't want to be accused I'm endorsing nobody. There ain't but one qualified. No black person running for mayor is qualified. I'm telling you right now. No black, I'm gonna say it again while y'all caught up in color. No black person running is qualified with the conditions of our community and the way we living and looking. From the state, I don't care, and no state rep, no state senator that represent us is qualified to do anything as well, bro. And I'm gonna stop. We need to stop playing with the lives and the truth of the people. I could dish as bears witness to the leadership we have had in these offices. At some point, man, you gotta go there. We have to send people to Congress, to the Senate, that's gonna truly represent us, bro. This man been a state rep. He been a Secretary of State for 25 years. 25 years. I went to prison. He was the state rep. I mean, the Secretary of State. I was in prison. Come home and our conditions are worse than when I left, bro. I'm telling you, man, we gotta figure this out, man. And everybody, y'all know we got a grand opening coming at our THC Cafe in Worth, Illinois. The dopest dispensary in the country. Maze, I talk to you. I'll be on the show tomorrow, man. I'm with Riis. Hey, Riis, do I got permission to come on the show and talk about the grand opening and all the free stuff we giving away?
You better bring. How you asking Riis? Hold on. See, here you go. Look. You best. Look, you see how y'all do? See how they do? See how they look? Riis already trying to take the mob over. I ain't even gone yet. Look, they done already made a plan without me.
Hey, man, you running for Senate, man. You ain't got no time for this holy for lowing stuff. You running for Senate, and you know what I'm saying? You got to pass the torch, pass the mic. You understand? You got to pass the rock.
You try see how they keep. So y'all got to guarantee me a win, then, man. So I'm gonna need you to go ride down on all the people and be like, we got to get the point. Check. You got to. This is what I need, right? This is what I need. I need for people.
First,
go ahead.
I'm starting with your boy first, Jason Irvin and Burnett. You got to keep your foot up their butt.
That's what you do. That's your job. You go. I gotta be. Look, man. Here's the problem. Here's the issue to me. I think the thing that we are able to demonstrate is our ability to talk to all different communities right now, right? And when I say all, I'm saying that district really is, it's got some white folks to it, but realistically, the different constituencies, right? Whether it is the business, the grassroots, the brothers that do what you do, like somebody has to be able to bring all of those together. I remember working on Van Pelt's campaign, and you know, her campaign was more grassroots than it was political, and that's how she swept into office and whooped the people that was playing. So here's my thing, Ty. We all got to play on different levels. I think the fact that I even walk into the room makes people know where I'm at. I don't even think I get to cut a deal, because the reality is so many people that would be watching it and having expectations. And my answers, while I would respect the people that have the appointment power, my answers come to the community, which is why I do what I do every day. Now, you come in here tomorrow, you better bring me some samples, and I want the good stuff, and I don't want no soft serve neither.
Hey, listen, well, we got some slushies.
Ooh, we need the slushies for real. Go ahead.
Hey, real quick, check this out. Tracy Bay for 4th Ward Alderman spot. We know with Tracy Bay in that spot that we're gonna have a true representative for the community and for the people. Secondly, underestimate us this time with this mayor race if you want to. I'll put my hard-earned effort, energy, and oxygen on the line that we delivering 250,000 ex-offenders to the polls to vote our entry. 250,000 ex-offenders will vote in this. Ex-offenders will vote in this election, mayor election, no matter what y'all do. Whoever we line up behind is going to be mayor. And that's what I'm saying. And take that to the bank.
All right. Hey, man. And I like your candidate, right? I feel like if I was to give an assessment, that's probably where black folks will do the best. If we don't get the black guy. Now I'm betting on race first, because I operate in Wakanda, right? And I know I operate in Wakanda. So I also can't let my people go off the deep end, right? But what we do know is that if we were to look at all the candidates, in my estimation, after Dr. Willie Wilson, then I think the candidate that you're talking about probably presents us the best chance to do well long term. He's got a track record of that. But we got to talk about that all, right? I think there's got to be a point of us. I think we got to make a black statement, though, right? And I think that once we make the black statement, in the event that the black candidate does not make the runoff, I don't know that the black candidate should pick the winner or be the broker of our space, right? And so that's why you got to be where you at, so that in the event that it don't work out for the candidate that we hit, that you become the gateway for other black folks to come on into your space, right? I think it's 2 bites at the apple. I think we've got to raise up the black vote, and I think the easy way to demonstrate, it'll get watered down in a mayoral primary when we split it up. But I think if you can show a cohesive vote and then say that cohesive vote wasn't necessarily just because of the individual, but because the coalition came together, then we make it happen. Carly on the Maze Jackson Show. Caller?
Maze.
Byron! Oh, Byron, so you went to go see Riis and you ain't bring me no tips, dog? I see how you do, man. I see how you do. But I see you went out to support my man Riis in your tennis outfit. Was you in all white?
No, I was all cold. But anyway, I had to go by. You know, I heard about it so much when I was in overseas. I said, I got to go by a place and support Riis and the boys and the crew. So I had to, and you talked about how good it was and you needed to your Christmas or New Year's party or something. I said, let me go get some of that meat. Because I normally don't eat meat. But you know, I always try to support
you're a vegetarian, Byron? Now, Byron, as red-blooded. You're a wild salmon guy?
I'm a wild salmon kind of guy. I'm a seafood. Lobster tails and crab legs, scallops, and shrimp, and that
now you
kind
got to
of
watch
stuff.
those scallops. You know, have you seen the report that says 85% of the scallops that we eat in the country are made of fish goo and not actually scallops? You need to pay attention to that. But I know you go to the good place.
Mine overpriced.
Oh, so you go to the good place.
I get the real thing.
Okay, there it is.
You got to have the real stuff.
Because you're a capitalist, Byron.
Double the price.
Because you're a capitalist.
Double the price. Is that a bad thing or a good thing? Tell me. Is that a bad thing or a good thing?
Capitalism has always worked for me, brother. It's always worked for me. I don't know what they talk about.
It used to work for most black folks. Because we used to think that way. How to better ourselves and better our community. That's how we used to think. But now we're looking for handouts. We're looking for the government to borrow money to give us handouts that we got paid for later. And call it inflation. That's what's inflation. The government keep borrowing money to give us money, and then we wonder why eggs are $8 a carton.
Dang!
It's so funny. Was that Tyrone Muhammad that just called just now?
Yep, that was Tyrone Muhammad.
Haven't heard from him in a long time.
That's because he be worldwide traveling, man. He all over the country. He on the BET Awards. He at the White House Awards. Man, please. He all over the world. What's up, man?
Well, thank God for him. And thank God for Maze Jackson. Can we get him to go to the Senate? That guy, Maze Jackson? We need you someplace where you can make those Negroes come and talk to you. I'm saying, you be like the guy in the House of Representatives where the guy came to try to knock him out and said, you better get on board. I would love for somebody come in your face and tell you to get on board, but giving the Negroes zero. I would love to see that. I don't know Butler, that big old linebacker guy that came in your show talking that nonsense. I don't know if he can go back and he's going to want to come in your face, because I think you take him on too.
Cam is Cam a big dude, right? Cam a big dude, and Cam is he's a negotiator. Cam is a lover, not a fighter, right? So Cam will come in, he'll be like, "Now listen, brother, can we talk about this?" And I'll be like, "What's in it for the black people?"
Yes.
I don't want no Cam smoke. Cam is a big dude, man. I seen him. He a big dude, and plus he a former fighting line. But I'm not scared of no man, so that's the truth. Go ahead.
Exactly. That's what we need. That's what Tyrone was talking about. We got to have somebody in that place, because all the guys and girls that are there now, they're weak. Except for those two guys and girls, that just got reelected for the first time. I think those two people can do good work. But we need somebody like you to hold these Negroes accountable, because they're accountable to the white folks. They're accountable to the white folks. Anytime and you want to know what's the word he's talking about, Democrat? What's the word Democrat? He says, what's a true Democrat? A true Democrat is
one that votes against their own interests. It's like having Tammy Duckworth and other folks come to our community, never come to our community, and you just vote for them. Because you don't think about nothing, you don't act like nothing, you just been told what to do, and you just go and do it. That's a true Democrat, right? And you're right about the Littlefoot person. She want to play it both ways. She think we forget. And see, that's where you come in at. You always go and dig up the stuff that need to be dug up to show people how hypocritical they really are. And she's a hypocritical person. She's hypocritical. I don't know why and black women go out and vote for her. She's got the black women vote. I know you know that, right, Maze?
Right.
She's relying on the black women to come and support her because she's LGBT plus, backspace, / and a minus sign. She's all that. What does that mean for us? And what's she done for us? And you know, Jesse White did do one good thing. Jesse, yes, I'm white. Because, you know, he did a thing with Roller Burns. I couldn't get over it. I still can't get over it. But when I do go to the 99th Street to renew my license plate, I see a whole bunch of us. And I'm proud of that. You see what I'm saying? Right. Because I have to look at the bigger picture sometimes. I think forgive a little. I can't forgive and forget, but I look at that and says, that's one damn good thing. All these black folks are here employed right now. That's a good damn thing. But we need to get smarter. If the Republicans or somebody else can give you 5% and the Democrats can give you 0%, why take the zero? Why? I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it, man. Help me.
The true Democrat.
All we got to do is flex our muscle. We got true Democrats is exactly right. We got to get them out of that. But we got to get them to thinking about do for self. We have to get black people to do for self. That means you got to think about businesses, growing your family, growing your businesses, growing your community. You got to think that way. You got to think. We should think that way. Cabernet, all those stores on 87th Street used to be almost black owned. You don't have to go to the mall. You just go on 87th Street, 79th Street. I'm not familiar with the West Side, but I'm sure the West Side was probably a similar thing. I just don't understand why we don't think that way. When the government gives us stuff, it makes us weak. It makes us weak. Sit around waiting for a damn check. Every time I go to Aldi's or something, all these people with these damn cards, they're sweating all these cards. I said, what's in this card? And none of them said Visa or MasterCard. They get all this stuff for free. You have to earn your way in life. It's taught at an early stage. We need to teach our kids at an early stage how to grow yourself and your family and your community. And we got to stick to that. Do for self, Maze. I'm just saying that's what it's all about. And I'm just glad that we have you there, but that would be a good move if you can make that move, Maze. Think about it, man. Seriously. Because you're about to end my show after the mayor's race. I don't know what I'm going to do. I really don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to go back. Go and talk to Riis every now and then.
No, Riis gonna be broadcasting from the migrant shelter. Remember? Why can't live? It used to be the Maze Jackson show live from the migrant shelter.
Let's hit it for the migrants.
I'm just gonna tell y'all though. Y'all every time y'all call in, it's one more committeeman. I ain't gonna get their vote. They gonna be like, he is not a true Democrat. No, we are not sending that Negro down there. But I do think, like, honestly, man. Thank you, Byron, for your call too, and thanks for stopping by. I know this sounds crazy, but I really don't. It's complicated to me that black folks would consider me a threat, right? Or like it seems like I'm not going to say I'm the people's choice. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I do feel like I can resonate with our people. Like right now, Riis, black voter turnout is the lowest it's ever been. Because people look up and they don't see people actually fighting for them. Black voters, right? And it's like, it ain't necessarily that. There has to be some sort of catalyst to make people feel like it's okay. Because, again, Riis, if you think about it, in the last 10 years, Tyrone said he went out, he came back in. Think about, cannabis is legal now, and we still ain't better. Gambling is legal now. We still ain't better. Riis, they gonna mess around and make prostitution legal, and we still ain't. Riis, they now have legalized dope spots. The crack house, which was the safe place for you to ingest your crack, is now the safe injection sites, and we still not in it. I look like, my thing is, and here's my part. Like, so here's what I would see. How LaShawn Ford sees the compassion part of it, leave the economics to me. So when y'all go in and negotiate for this thing because it hurts, there's the other guy that's negotiating because he knows that he can open up the high-end injection sites in Highland Park where parents gonna pay for their kids to go be safe if they can't beat the opioid crisis. And he's saying, I understand without, and we saying, oh my God, we gotta do it because we got people on Madison and Pulaski. Well, at the end of the day, what I don't want to see is our pain turned into profit, and at least we profit from it. Or the solutions. And maybe not, and I know profit sounds like a bad word, but like everything, not everything, we talk a lot altruistically. Like, think about all of our outcomes have come from, we gonna let you out of jail. We gonna pardon you. We're gonna give you expungements. We're gonna put you to ground zero. I want to start figuring out how do we get legislation that takes us from ground zero to ground 10. Because I'll tell you something, Riis. I saw something the other day, and I'm not going to go too far into it, but have you ever heard of MENA? Middle Eastern North Africans? So there's a new group called MENA that is now fighting to get a piece of the pie. Junior, it's funny. Junior says, Maze, I think the problem is that you haven't been able to advocate for black folks while getting other groups behind you. I haven't really sought the support of other groups. That's just reality. It's really about getting black people to be self-determined on their own, to decide that they got to grab their own self, that they have to feel worthy enough to be able to walk into the room and negotiate for themselves. So don't get me twisted. Don't get me twisted, right? Like, I know the people that I deal with, right? The wins that we have is because we don't have is because of Wakandaism. But you got to teach people tactics. Now, Riis, this MENA thing. And the district is a black district, so you ain't got to convince. You got to convince the committeeman. But the district was built to be more black than anything else, right? So it's supposed to be dominated by black folks, and you could do that. But that's a whole nother story. Maybe you got your own interest in it. So that, I think about all of that. But Riis, I was sitting in the meeting the other day. I won't say where, but a guy gave a speech about the fight for Middle Eastern North Africans to become a protected class. Middle Eastern North Africans to become a protected class, to be added to the minority bundle to further dilute the minority set-aside program. Middle Eastern North Africans. I want you to think about that. And I want to take a break, and I want to come back to the concept of Middle Eastern North Africans. Because you know what that sounds like to me? We not them niggas over there. Middle Eastern North Africans as a protected class that should qualify for minority set-asides or for diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. I just want to talk about the evolution of the diversity, equity, and inclusion, and how George Floyd has created more opportunity for everybody but black people. We'll talk about it more when we come back as we wrap this show up. It's the Maze Jackson Show.
The Maze Jackson Show. We'll be back after this break.
Yeah, Ruthie Mo, Riis the ruler, Maze Jackson. This is the reparations interlude. We not asking, we demanding. So go on, make my payments high, 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 high. Tell the government to cut them reparations, make them high, 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 high. Not no SBA loans, just run the bread, make it high, 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 high. Tell the government to cut them reparations, make them high, 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 high. Look, Hey, check it out. First drug lord was President Nixon. Oval Office was the trap house where he was tipping. Got the drugs from Nicaragua and gave us crack. Declared war on blacks. Man, tell him to cut the check and tried to make it seem like a revolution. CIA was the corner boys for distribution. We could tear this country in half for retribution. But I'd rather get some restitution, so tell him to cut the check. John Singleton, man, he already told y'all. He broke it down for you when he made Snowfall. They locked us all up and created whole laws. So send a message like a cold call. Tell them to cut the check. Look, we built this city. We built this city. Put this country together and gave him hella aid. Lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Over 400 years. Been punching the clock, but yeah, we still ain't got paid. Look, they paying the immigrants. They paid the Jews. Executive orders, man, they made the rules. I want my 40 acres, you can save the mule. Cause as of right now, we getting played for the fool. Look, for sterilization, Tuskegee experiment, Rosewood, Japanese internment. Come on. Was all paid out from the government. We waiting on our turn, we definitely earned it. So make my payment high, 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 high. Tell the government to cut them reparations, make them high, 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 high. Not no SBA loans, just run the bread, make it high, 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 high. Tell the government to cut them reparations, make them high, 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 high. Not no stimulus check, just run the bread, make it high. Yeah, Ruthie Mo, Riis the ruler.
You are listening to the Maze Jackson Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my man DJ Riis the ruler. Mina Riis. Middle Eastern North Africans. It's a new, well, actually they said for 25 years they have been fighting to be established as a group that should be qualified as a set-aside, a group that should be considered for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now let's back up. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is the precursor to that was the MBE DBE program, which the precursor to that was the minority set-aside program, which the precursor to that was affirmative action. And when affirmative action was created, it was created for two groups. It was created for two groups who were not like all other Americans, right? Because most Americans came here. Let's back up. White Americans and everybody else came here with similar levels of disadvantage. And you came here, Riis, with your hopes and your dreams in your little bag that you brought over here on your boat or your plane or whatever else it was. And you planted your stake and you could live the American dream because you worked hard. And you found a place and you saw that America was the land of opportunity where if you worked hard, you too could succeed. Affirmative action was created for the people who did not have the option to participate in the American dream. They did not come here on an airplane, a boat, or a train, or they came here in slaves, enchained, and had absolutely no opportunity to get a fair day's work for a fair day's pay, fair day's pay for a fair day's work because they were enslaved. So in fact, by being brought to America, they were set back, not at an equal ground where they could get off the boat, and if they worked as hard as they worked, they could be the American dream. No matter how hard you worked, you were still a Negro, or you were an Indian, right? And the Indians were the people who were here that the white people killed, decimated, put in concentration camps, and depopulated the country so that they could be there. So let's be clear as to the origins of the program. Since then, every group that has come here has figured out a way to say, I was disadvantaged too. But let's be clear that if you came here from Italy, Asia, South America, wherever you came here by choice. With your bag, and you told all you gotta do is watch episodes of Yellowstone, the origins. And when you came here, Riis, you could kill as many Indians as you wanted to find your space. You could buy as many slaves or hock as many slaves to build your wealth as you wanted. If you came here as an Asian, if you came here as you came here as an Asian because you saw this as an opportunity. Now, were there biases and hiccups, and every group had some level of discrimination when they first got here. However, they all still remained higher than the black people and the Indians. Matter of fact, Riis, I still would ask you to tell me, when's the last time you seen an Indian that wasn't on a casino? Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. So you must understand, if you were to talk to the Latinos, most Latinos came here for opportunity. And then as they came here for opportunity, they was looking around like, yeah, the white people discriminated against us, so let's jump in this bucket with y'all. And the bucket kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. To the point now, Riis, that we have a group that is emerging, and I don't know how I feel about this, but I do want to understand, what is a Middle Eastern North African? To me, if you are a migrant from you either going to claim your country. So I'm Nigerian, you going to claim your country, or you going to claim the whole continent? But you ain't going to say, we not them niggas over there. And by making the distinction, imagine getting in the pool. Did y'all see the video of the South Africans, where the black kids got in the pool and the South Africans said that this pool is white only, and they in South Africa and they start pulling the kids and choking them and pulling them out the pool, and then we came and marched around and was like, we gonna be at this pool? Riis, so the emerging group of Middle Eastern North Africans that now believe that they should be a protected class and be participating in the minority diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, I'm a little confused. Riis, many people in that class, or what I would interpret the class to be, want to be distinguished from Africans, black Africans from the continent of Africa. There is no Middle East. There is no Middle East. There is only Africa, the continent of. Now, because you don't want to be associated with the black people in Africa, it also comes off as racist to me. So we got all of these organizations about the diaspora of Africa, etc. And a group now from Africa is saying, but we don't want to be classified in the same bucket as, now, again, if you say Egyptians, if you say Tunisians, if you say we are a community, but again, Riis, if they don't do it collectively, then they don't have the critical mass to be able to be qualified. So essentially, Riis, the Middle Eastern North African Association or classification is essentially, is it a light skin, dark skin divide? How should we look at that as people who recognize that the diaspora is from Africa and who also know their history?
You know what? That is alarming, and that is crazy because you're right. It is Africa.
Family, look at the continent. And the fact that somebody is, and that we in America, right, are willing to say, we will give you the categorization that takes you away from, again, it is almost to me a light-skinned, dark-skinned, classist,
brown paper bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm listening to you.
It is. You. And I recognize that it's a powerful community economically. But can you imagine being at a meeting for diversity, equity, and inclusion, and sitting in the meeting are the black descendants of slaves, the Africans from Nigeria and Ghana and everything else, and all of the other immigrant blacks, and then Middle Eastern North African, but we all from the continent of Africa, but we want to split it. And again, it goes back to nobody wants to be black, but people want to share. Do we understand the origins? The origins were not to make people who came to the country equal. If you came to the country by your own free will, you ain't supposed to have no set aside. You supposed to be able to come to America as the land of opportunity, dig your thing, plant your joint, open your store, sell your whatever you gonna do, because you came here for the land of opportunity. And then when you come here for the land of opportunity, you look and you see there's a black bucket over there where them black people are eating. We don't want to go to the black people and say, how do we align with you? Because we're all from the continent of Africa. We want to eat, because guess like everybody else, Riis, everybody tell them don't be associated with the black people. How do you put Africa in your joint and ignore the Africans?
Because they want to be the Middle East.
Think about the gravity of that. That goes against everything. As I sit here in my fraternity jacket, where I recognize that what they call the Middle East is actually the Fertile Crescent, where the birth of civilization was. Where Shem was a black man from Africa. You repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. Abraham and Isaac for real. These are the children of Israel. I didn't say nothing about nobody. All I'm saying, I got you. I know. But Riis, so explain to me when someone, if there is a coalition of African nations, give us a call, 872-259-7474. And I really don't mean it in a disrespectful way. I just want to understand where's the line drawn in Africa? Who draws the line and says, these are regular Africans, these are North, right? Like, and what's the countries? And how do you get there? And then how do you, in a discussion, how do you define the economic disadvantage as compared, which is what diversity, equity, inclusion is about, to bring you to the level of everybody else had their first 100 years to put their family stake down. Our 200 or 400 years was all about slavery. So the reason that the program was created was not so that you could there's a special bucket. It's a special bucket for people who didn't get education, who didn't have a chance to choose their own destiny. We didn't have a choice. Carly on the Maze Jackson Show.
Good morning, Maze. This is Hope. How are you?
Oh, Hope, what's up, man? How you feeling, man?
Well, I kind of think that we as Black Americans have given MENA, those who are considered MENA, a heads up. Think back 20 years when Black women started going to, quote, Egyptian hairdressers to get their hair done.
They get my hair so straight. They get it straight in the mug. Then all of a sudden they start losing their hair. But go ahead. I remember. That's deep.
Come on. That's a foreign concept in Egypt, let alone in Chicago. Have you ever been there? Have you ever been to Egypt? Have you ever been to Cairo, Aswan?
No, I have not.
Well, if you have, Maze, you as a Black person, me as a Black person will stand out much like we stand out in Kenilworth. And they'll follow you around because they haven't seen a Black African. Okay? I know it seems a foreign concept to most Black Americans, but hey, they don't know anything about your hair. And that's why they straighten it out until it breaks off. And then you don't go back to them. But no, we started this stuff in the 70s. You may have missed in the 70s when members of the OPEC, primarily Saudi Arabia, would send their cousins over here to our colleges and so forth. And, our Black women just thought they were just so wonderful and so great and da-da-da-da-da. Well, to make a long story short, they found out that they were being flipped as much as Janet Jackson was. So, hey, if we're going to include people in MENA, we may as well include people from Israel, too. That's my point. It's crazy. They're not part of Black American experience, which is unique for the worldwide.
So
even Nigerians that come over here.
But can I tell you, I don't think they want to be African, right? Like they want to be a separate category that is not associated with us in that space. And so it's amazing to me that I was baffled at the presentation in that there are Black people sitting here that have a sense of history, and you are now physically dividing the country, the continent, based on race, based on skin color, really. And for us to be entertaining this without any knowledge of, like, what is MENA? Explain it to me. Define to me what equals a Middle Eastern North African. Does it have anything to do with race? Show me the examples of it. Where is it clustered? And show me the disadvantage that happens. Now, if you saying you African and you came here, we already got an issue. But you trying to tell me we got to now say that Africa as a continent gets 2 bites at the apple? Because we don't want to be associated with them Negroes over there.
Well, Maze, you also see that MENA clustered when you go to France. If you spend any time over in Paris, you will see that the Parisians, people from Paris, Parisians, they have the North Africans separated into projects.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, I've been there. Yeah. I've been there. And they make them live way out. Yeah. You got to take the subway an hour out, and they live on the outer circle. And when hey, man, I got pictures in their joints where you go in there, and it's like, man, bro, it's like it's like going into, like, Beirut.
Yes. So they don't. The prisons don't want these demeanors to be a part of their culture, so they separate them and segregate them. So that's where you see the start of it. And also, don't forget the problems that they have caused for France, the bombings in the 60s, the 70s, and so forth. I'm not trying to stereotype anyone, but I'm saying, well, no, let's just drop that concept here in America. It ain't going to work. That's the time to do away with affirmative action in these state programs because we're not a part of it. Thank you, Maze.
Thank you, Hope. Anybody else on that line, Riis? All right, y'all. It's about time for us to get up out of here. Tyrone asked me to announce that he'll be on the show tomorrow. He'll also be. You should have called Riis and asked him to do it. How you gonna schedule his own announcement on my show? To support your local weed man gifts and to talk politics tomorrow, the grand opening of the THC Cafe at 21st at 11415 South Harlem in Worth, Illinois. It's gonna be the dopest dispensary in the state.
I'll be there.
See, all right.
It make it just to add a little bit to it. You know, like he actually called me and said, "I'm finna call in."
He called me too. He texted me and be like, "I'm about to be on the line." That's like when I'm gonna call him and be like, "I'm about to smoke this." Right? I'm gonna be like, everybody value is value. All right, so I'm gonna say a live interview is worth at least 2 zips. I need 2 zips for an interview.
You say, and I'm coming up there tomorrow.
That's right. Bring another zip. Like, and any live appearance.
Lucky you.
Look, it's in. No, I'll be like, and live appearances translate to quarter pounds. There it is. All right, so I'm all good. Y'all do y'all thing. Everybody do their thing. Look, y'all, I am really debating this going after this Senate seat. I know that my blackness will be probably the issue. I see a lot of people trying to point to the ability to vote. I mean, I haven't really sought voters, right? Like I haven't ever sought or I haven't ever really here. We have been here to be unabashedly black, and they'll try and use this against me. But again, in a black district that has so many black folks, ain't it about time we get somebody that's unabashedly black? It's like I'm tired. And again, if I lose on my own terms of being who I am, then I'm accept that. But realize that the reality is if you put me up there, the reason that I lose is not because I'm not qualified. I lose because I've been fighting too much for black folks. So pick your poison. There's probably nobody in this race that can say that in some way, shape, or form I haven't been supportive of them, independent of ever wanting to be elected.
Just make sure you're a true Democrat, all right? That's the upper hand right there.
Oh, they're going to use that against me then.
They're going to use that against you?
Because, I mean, a true Democrat, I be asking, true Democrat mean you be like, hey,
ooh, you be asking all these Democrats.
Hey, I am not going to be least offensive. I'm sorry. I will be the offensive Negro. Now, I say all this to say that obviously I know how to talk, and I obviously know how to put together and build relationships. That's why I've been able to be successful in corporate America in spite of telling the truth. Right? I have. There's nobody, let me just be clear. They all take the morning show and send it to my clients to be like, you really gonna work with him? And the reality is that you know I'm not gonna BS you. I'm going to tell you it straight up, straight down. You know how so many people won't never give you an answer. They won't never. And then all of a sudden, like, again, somebody come for one of us. Riis, I feel like somewhere in there you got to have a brutal guy. Like the person that they be like, we don't even want this smoke. Like, you just fronted my man? Here we go.
You know, it's always that one like, man, don't even try him.
Don't right, man. Or you bring him to the meeting because he be sitting there like,
don't even try him. Like, don't do it.
Yo, you gonna come in here and tell us we get out of jail for free and you getting ready to get $1 billion? Oh no. Then you gonna have to free the guys and be waiting with them, and you gonna have to have a package for them.
Yeah, that's what they did.
Hey man, it's the Maze Jackson Show. I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show, where every single day we ask the question, "What's in it for the black people?" So for Maze, Riis, and Ruthie. Maze, Riis, and Ruthie. I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show, where every single day we ask the question, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them. Maze said, we out of here. Peace.
Let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts, man. Lightfoot seems more in than black.
My bad. Turn the music down. Let me say this one more good time before I get up out of here. Blue Phi, you know, Sigma, Tuco, Goma, Aua, Boo, Sig, better than a Phi, Beta, Sigma, Tuco, Go Mob. Let me tell y'all, man. Shout out to all the bros. Founders Day. Kicking it tonight on 119th and Loomis. Y'all come through, see how the bros do it if you want to. We will be celebrating throughout the country. Today on January 9th, 1914, the men of Blue and White, the men of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Thank you for everything that you've brought to me. Thank you for the experiences, and thank you for an international brotherhood where brotherhood, scholarship, and service is our motto. Our keys, and culture for service, service for humanity is our motto. It is the inclusive we, not the exclusive we. Try to figure out a way for us all to participate. All right, and with that in mind, for Maze, Riis, and Ruthie, I am the host of the Maze Jackson Show, where every single day we ask the question, what's in it for the black people? And if you don't like it, you can still tell them. Maze said, we out of here. Now, peace.
Let's get down to business and go ahead and address the facts, man. Lightfoot seems more in black. Rahm Emanuel's another case. He was just as tired. 50 closed schools left much to be desired. Police had Anjanette naked on that body cam. They suppressed the footage so it couldn't touch a lot of hands. Reminds me of that 16 shots in that cover up. Both of them similar, so I went and dug it up. George Floyd killed, a lot of riots happened in the town. Southside burned and they wouldn't let them bridges down. Grandmother sick, need a prescription and plus a couple groceries. You gon' have to travel just to get it now. COVID-19 out here shutting all the business down. Not enough SBA loans to even give around. So many failed businesses that you could put them in the pile. If you don't survive the pandemic, it's gonna sit you down. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. Shout out to Willie Wilson, hope one day you get the Senate. We need some different players in the game to handle business. Too many shady characters like Madigan and Blago. But when you really break it down, it's typical Chicago. City full of gangsters, it's what the land was built on. Same streets where hood legends DNA get spilled on. Carjackers out here lurking, trying to get they steal on. Looking for a block to put them Hellcat wheels on. Let us give bogus appraisals a red line. Car crackers out here getting minimal fair time. And I'm concealed carry, I stay with the pipe. But Illinois gun laws giving minimal rights. Stay up on the swivel, make sure I'm moving tight. Check all of my mirrors when I pull up to the light. Pick my homie up from out of town, man, he caught a flight. He was hella nervous, told him, shorty, this a way of life. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in it for us black folks. We sing, dance, play ball, entertain, and crack jokes. Government infested black neighborhoods with crack smoke. System that milked us so bad, we got lactose. Still trying to find out what's in